The Untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing games are missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, guys, listen. This is, in fact, the live the night before Canelo-Crawford, and it's great to be here. It's an important live, guys. It's probably it's gonna be a little long. It's gonna be a little drawn out, but there's a lot to discuss. There's a lot to talk about. So just make sure y'all sit tight. We got a great show planned for you guys. It's a very important time in the fight game. I would even go as far as to say it's the 11th hour in this fight game. But guys, before I get into my talking points, leave your comments down below, guys. I gotta exit the live real quickly. I will be back in roughly like 2 to 3 minutes. So don't go anywhere. Leave your comments. I'll be back in 2 to 3 minutes. Hold on. I gotta do one more thing, and we'll get this live started properly. Hold on. All right, I'm back, guys. Can y'all hear me? Just let me know. Are we good? Are we good? Are we loud and clear? Just say yes or say no in the comments. I had to correct one more thing before I went on the live because I had something in my notes that I had to correct real quickly before I forgot. But listen, guys, we're here. We're here to talk about Crawford Canelo, the big fight. Right now I'm pacing back and forth. I'm in camp right now. Right now, for those of you who know, for those of you who don't know, I've said this in every video, but I'll say it again. I'm in training camp right now. I'm not sparring or nothing like that, but I'm assisting a fighter in training camp, serving as liaison slash concierge slash advisor, if you will, to my main man Yuga Osaki, the future face of Japanese boxing, one of the top light flyweights in the world. He's ranked top 15 across all the sanctioning bodies. He's fighting October 3rd in upstate New York. It just got reported on Twitter. I've known about it for like weeks on end, but it's finally starting to get out there. So he'll be taking on Aziel VR in a WBO light flyweight title eliminator. If he wins that fight, we're talking about a world title fight next year. So I've been in camp trying to help him make his life easier and, be the best. Use whatever little connections I have in boxing to make his life easier. So I've been really enjoying that. I've been out here in the Bay Area for like 2.5 weeks now. Got another about 2.5 weeks more to go. So I've been doing that. But this boxing don't stop. We're here to talk about the sport of boxing for you guys. And I love this sport. I love this fight game. I live this fight game. I breathe this fight game. I'll die this fight game. This fight game is in my blood. So that being said, guys, we are in the 11th hour of boxing. And what I mean is this. We're in the 11th hour in a lot of ways. We're in the 11th hour as far as the careers of Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. Obviously, these have been two of the greatest, if not the best fighters in the post-Floyd Mayweather era. So they don't got much longer left. We're in the 11th hour of their careers. This fight is going to be a big determining factor so far as their legacy and so far as their reputation is concerned. So it's important for their careers. But it's also the 11th hour as far as the sport fundamentally, because, a lot was made yesterday of Sean Zittel and his run-in with Dana White. It's all over social media, right? We'll definitely talk about that. But it's now we're kind of like in a new world order for boxing, because you got TKO boxing. This is the first event. And I think fundamentally it's going to change our sport forever. Now, whether it's good or bad, that remains to be seen. But I will present you guys some information, and you guys can make your own determination on that, But listen, we here. Let me take some time to acknowledge the people that are commenting. Shout out to everybody here. We got my main man, Beep Bob Jones. He says, yo, yo. He says, yo, yo. And then he also says, hold on. He says, Dana White exposed. That's right. Shout out to my man Chris. That's right. Dana White got exposed. He got undressed. He got put in the blender. My man said, "Go Giants!" Yeah, shout out to the Giants, man. I just went to the Giants game like a couple weeks ago. Let me see who else we got here. We got Cheo. Filomeno says, "BT, why are you not here to support? Why are you not in Japan to support Naoya Inoue?" Listen, man, I covered Naoya Inoue in January. Yi Jun Kim. I was the first American boxing media reporter to ever cover Naoya Inoue in Japan. I covered Inoue in the States for Cardenas. I done spent the whole year covering Inoue and supporting Inoue. To answer your question, the reason why I'm not in Japan covering and supporting Naoya Inoue is because I'm here in the Bay Area where we're about business. And I'm here in training camp with the future face of Japanese boxing, Yugo Osaki. I'm in training camp with him. So that's why I'm not in Japan. So even when I'm not supporting the current face of Japanese boxing, I'm supporting the future face of Japanese boxing. So Japanese boxing, listen, it's a passion of mine. I have a special place in my heart for the Japanese boxing, and that's not going to change. But yeah, I've been covering Inoue fights all year. I don't need to be at this one. I got more important things to tend to. Okay. All right, a couple more questions, guys, and we'll get into the nitty gritty because I got like 4 talking points I want to run through, and there's a lot to discuss. But we got my man TSM Harder in the building. He says, "Is Jinzaki making an announcement on the Inoue fight?" I think so. He's gonna be. I know he's gonna be there. He had posted something on Twitter about him attending the fight, so we'll see if they announce anything. I'd rather him not fight anytime soon and heal, but that's just my opinion. Rafi 816 says, "What did I think of the weigh-in?" With the Crawford Canelo weigh-in, I'll be honest with you. I've been so busy, I didn't even watch the official Terence Crawford and Canelo weigh-in. I only saw the ceremonial one. I think I may have seen the clip where they were on the stage and they showed a shot from the background where you can see the crowd in the background. It looked pretty packed from what I've seen. It seems like a lot of people attended the weigh-in. I mean, Crawford looks big as shit. Canelo looks like he's in the best shape he's been in a long time. So it looks like both guys took this fight very, very serious, and that's probably the most I can say about them as far as the weigh-in. But listen, guys, hold on. He says, "Are we gonna be able to watch Yugo Osaki fight anywhere?" That I don't know yet. I'm trying to figure that out myself. So when I figure that out myself, I will let you guys know because I want everybody to support Yugo. He's an awesome talent. He's a special talent, and I think he's someone that everyone in the boxing world should pay attention to. And if you support me, you gotta support Yuga. You know, we're like a package deal. You know, same thing with Angelo. If you support me, you gotta support Angelo Leo. So that he's like a true school fighter. You know. But anyway, last comment. Word on the street, BT is the guy who bet the 700. Word on the street is that BT is the guy who bet the 715K. Nah, man, nah. I wish, but no, it's not me. It's not me, champ. But listen, that's a great segue because I want to get right into it, man. Listen, I'm gonna tell you guys like this. So the main purpose of this live, I'm not gonna really talk that much about Canelo-Crawford, the actual fight. I feel like I've talked about it enough on other lives. There's been enough dissecting of the fight. I'm gonna wait to the very last talking point to give you guys my official breakdown because I want to discuss what I really want to talk about. Honestly, Sean Zittel done sparked up a flame in your boy BT to want to talk about what I really want to talk about, which is what this fight really means for the sport of boxing moving forward. You know, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So put your seatbelt on, buckle up, because we're gonna run right through it, piece by piece, point by point, brick by brick. So I guess I'll start with yesterday. I'm gonna start with yesterday. I'm gonna start with my boy Sean Zittel, right? Great friend of the channel, one of my best friends on this earth. He really is the story. He is the story of the buildup so far. If we're just being honest. Now, what I want to say is what I want to address is this because I feel like I did a good job this morning in my 20-minute video addressing what happened and breaking it down. If you want to know, if you want to go see what I thought about the whole interaction, go watch that video. But what I wanted to sit here and address is basically I want to address this whole talking point I've been hearing from people saying that, you know, that Sean Zittel, he pressed Dana White at the wrong time. You know, it wasn't the correct time or place to correct and press Dana White. And my thing is, I couldn't disagree more with you guys. I can't think of a better time to press Dana White because, for number one, let's be real. Dana White is a guest in our sport of boxing. He just got here, right? And there's a lot of things in UFC that he's done that haven't been so great, and we want to know if he's going to do those same things in boxing, right? And truth be told, let's be honest, because no, I won't even ask you guys. I'll tell you guys. I'm going to tell you guys from my own experience. When you get a guy like Dana White with his influence, with his level of popularity, everyone wants to talk to him. You know, so when he walks into a media room, when he walks into an arena, every reporter and their mother wants to interview Dana White. So, you know, it's very unlikely that Sean Zittel is going to get a one-on-one interview if he just says, "Hey, Mr. White, do you think you could come give me 10 minutes of your valuable time and do an interview?" No, but like it's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. So he used the best time to get his question off in the most clear and concise manner. And it was such an important question that many people got a chance to hear what Sean thought and what Dana thought, and they can make a decision for themselves on where they stood on the matter, right? So anybody who's saying that like Sean was in the wrong and Dana White, you know, it's not the right time to press Dana White. Listen, man, this is the United States of America. Okay, if you can't take the heat, get out the fucking kitchen. As a media member, you have the right to question whoever it is you're there to question, right? It's literally your constitutional right. So, you know, Dana White, he answered to what he thought was a great answer, and Sean, you know, tried to press more and get more out of him. But there's no such thing as a wrong time. I want to make this very clear to everyone. In media, there is no such thing as a wrong time because in this day and age where you have like, look at just the climate of everything now. Like, you have these promotional companies are like have their own media, right? In-house media to control the narratives. You have fighters and athletes with their own podcasts to what? Control the narratives. So independent media is being suppressed. There's a big attempt to phase out independent boxing media. So I'm sorry to everybody who's sitting here saying that it's the wrong time to press Dana White. No. It is the correct time to press Dana White. And if you're saying that it's the wrong time, then you guys are idiots. I gotta. If you think it's the wrong time, you guys are idiots. If that's the wrong time, what's the correct time? And don't tell me, oh, he should just go ask him for an interview, because I'm telling you guys right now, a guy like Dana White, you could ask him for an interview. The answer is going to be no. Who was the last? Let me ask all the MMA fans boxing fans who also watch MMA. Who was the last non-controlled, independent MMA interviewer who sat down with Dana White and had a hard-hitting interview with him where they asked him legitimate questions that were not comfortable and not convenient for him? If someone can tell me and point me to an interview where I could watch that from the MMA side of things, then I will shut up. But like history tells us that you're not going to get an interview that way. So Sean, I think he did the right thing. And I think it's great for the sport. I think it's great for media. I think it's great for, like, this should light a fire under any and all media, because, you know, our sport is in a really interesting place. Now, should people be excited about Canelo-Crawford, the fight? Of course. Canelo is a great fighter. Terence Crawford is a great fighter. They're fighting each other. You know, I think it's pretty cool that, you know, two great fighters like this are going to fight each other. That's amazing. But to me, it's the backdrop. The backdrop is what happened with Sean and the main story is what happened with Sean and Danny yesterday. The main story is you know, Ari Emanuel's entry into the sport of boxing. The main story is the fact that this fight really, the fight is cool, but this fight is just a domino that has to fall for the greater domino to fall, right? And that greater domino, guys. And this will kind of pivot into my second talking point, and then I'll go to your comments here in a second. But my second talking point is the fact that it's this right here, is that the purpose of this fight, for those of you who don't know, so some of you guys out there may think that the purpose of Crawford Canelo is to see who's pound for pound and who's the greatest fighter of our era. And sure, in a boxing sense, that's how it's going to be marketed. That's how it's going to be pushed. Sure. But really, when you get to the nitty-gritty of what this is all about, the main purpose of Canelo-Crawford is to legitimize TKO boxing. Yes, because TKO boxing and TKO Group Holdings Incorporated, you know, headed by Ari Emanuel, you know, they got a monopoly on wrestling, they got a monopoly on MMA, but they don't got a monopoly on boxing. In fact, nobody has had a monopoly on boxing. Boxing has been the wild, wild west, and it has been the hardest sport to monopolize. Many people have tried, and many have failed. You go back in the days, look at Harold Smith in the 80s and his whole embezzlement scandal where he embezzled like $21.3 million. You know, he tried back in the day. Al Heyman tried, you know, with PBC and buying a bunch of time slots back in the day. Turki Al-Sheikh, to a degree, has tried himself, and, you know, more on him later on. But, like, he can't really do what he needs to do in America. He needed to bring somebody into the fold, and that guy is Dana White. That guy is Ari Emanuel. People with connections, people with influence. What a gangster say in that one song? They said the most influential men have influential friends, and I'm gonna put the squeeze on all of them. That's literally that's Ari Emanuel and Dana White. They're influential men, and they got a whole lot of influential friends. People in government, people in the White House, people that can really move some shit and make things happen here in America. So that's why they're here. They're here because they can get things moving in ways that Turkey by himself, even though Turkey's got money, and even though Turkey's got the Saudi Arabian government bankrolling them, he don't got the connections in America to do what he's trying to do in this sport of boxing. So he had to bring in some higher guns into the fold. So pivoting back to my original talking point with this fight is going to legitimize TKO boxing as a boxing entity. You understand? Because when they go and they try to sign young fighters and impressionable fighters that don't know any better, they're going to say, well, this is the same company that had Canelo-Crawford, so maybe if I train hard one day, I can one day be in a big fight just like that one day, right? Now, what they don't know is that the way the sport was when Canelo and Crawford got made and happened is not the same sport they're going to be competing in when they sign that contract. You understand? And that's truly the story within the story. You understand? So when I think about what this fight really is, this fight is here for Canelo and Crawford to get crazy money and be in legacy fight, so to speak. But it really is to legitimize TKO boxing and usher in the Ari Emanuel, Nick Khan era to boxing, which you guys you guys out there, I know some of you guys, like, you watch WWE, you watch UFC, so you may know these names. Some of you guys may not. Some of you may know these names and you still don't give a fuck. You just like, BT, at least we get in the fights. But I think you should know these names because these are going to be names that are going to be moving the needle in boxing for years to come. And I just want to present you guys some information, and you guys can take with it and do with it whatever and however you want. You understand? So yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. Those are my 2 talking points. Sean Zittel pressed Dana White at the best time possible on the biggest stage possible. He deserves credit for it. There's no such thing as a right time, because whether it's Dana White or Gervonta Davis or Anthony Joshua or somebody of a lot of fame in the sport, your odds are if you're in the setting of a press conference or a big fight, you're not going to get a one-on-one interview with them just by asking. In most cases, everyone wants to talk to them. Their time is very valuable. Unless you have a personal relationship with that person, you're not going to get a one-on-one interview, right? And in this case, and I can speak to this guy, I know Sean. Sean does not have a personal relationship with Dana White. Maybe he will now, but he didn't prior to yesterday. So he did the right thing. And then, yeah, the main purpose of this whole card and this whole fight is to legitimize legitimize TKO boxing as an entity into the sport, because they're going to create the structure of a league, and they're going to try, in my opinion, to make the biggest attack on free market capitalism in boxing ever. And it is probably going to be the strongest attempt ever in the history of boxing at creating a monopoly. So it's very interesting to talk about, and these are the things that are happening. But let me see. We got people here. Shout out to everybody here in the chat. We got a lot of people here. Shout out to Karma Serene. She says that's literally why the First Amendment was created. Correct. This is very, very correct. JW says, to the people saying that it was the wrong time for Sean to press, my question is, what is the best time? Dana makes most of his appearances in fight bills. Where else is Sean supposed to find him? Correct. If it's not then where? Is he supposed to go to the UFC Fight Center, the UFC Performance Institute every single day and just hope he crosses past Dana White? Like, nah, man. It's the right time. You understand? Let me see. Shout to See No More MMA. He says, yo, what's up, BT? As soon as I saw Zittel in line to ask questions, I knew exactly what was coming. Yeah, man. And I was very proud of him yesterday. Me and him have talked a lot about these kind of moments, and I've been doing my best as his friend to mentally build him up to this moment. And, he's built himself up to this moment too. And he had the courage, and he did it yesterday. So how you feel? With Dana White, there will never be another opportunity to ask him those tough questions. ESPN will never do it. They gave him a pass for hitting his wife in public. There you go. And look, I mean, if we leave it to the vices of, let's say, I don't know, Max Kellerman, you think let's pull the chat. You guys can tell me. Do you guys think Max Kellerman is going to ask the tough questions? Max Kellerman was literally taking he was shitting on the sport of boxing to prop up Dana White. He's come back. Listen, I don't want to put people down. I don't get no joy on talking down on nobody, especially somebody as great as Max Kellerman, who's achieved so much as a guy in media, right, in boxing. But it is possible. Just like fighters can be washed up, I think people in the media can get washed up. And Max Kellerman ain't what he used to be. I always thought Max Kellerman had some out there takes. And I didn't always agree with him, but he at least always respected the sport of boxing. Like, this dude is literally propping up Dana White so hard that Canelo had to butt in because Max Kellerman was talking down on the sport of boxing. And Canelo said, no, boxing has always been a big sport. Boxing has been big, and it'll always be big, and it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So thank you to Canelo, for having some damn dignity and respecting the sport, because Max Kellerman, who's supposed to be this boxing historian, who is a boxing historian and is supposed to love the sport, he's throwing it under the bus to just pop up Dana White, which I don't understand. Like, I don't get it. Let me see. Who else we got here? Hold on. I'm missing a lot. I'm gonna scroll all the way down because I'm missing a lot. Max used to be a dude who didn't give a fuck. That's what I'm saying. And I honestly feel like, truth be told, guys, like, and this is my theory, We ain't seen Max in years, and all of a sudden it's like Max. Here comes Max again. I feel like Max Kellerman was summoned. Like maybe he was. I don't know. Maybe Turkey and them guys. Maybe they know this thing on Max Kellerman and they blackmail him. They're like, "Yo, Max, if you don't cover this damn fight, we're gonna expose you." I don't know. It's weird. The whole Max Kellerman thing returning is weird. You know. Shout out to Angel Diaz. I see you in the chat. Dana Duck, Sean Zittel. Yup. Turkey is bad for boxing. You're just mad at Turkey. I'm not mad at Turkey. Listen, what you don't realize is Turkey. First of all, let's get a couple of things established about Turkey. Now, it's been you guys, not you guys, but the masses, much of the masses in the boxing community. You guys have referred to this guy as his excellency, right? Which you should never refer to any man as that. I don't give a damn where they're from. His name is Turkey Al Sheikh. He shall be addressed as such. His mama named him Turkey, so I'm gonna call him Turkey. Ain't gonna be no damn his excellency in front of him, right? But really, he's not even like the top guy in Saudi. He's like a peon. He's like the custodian. He's like the janitor at the school. Like he's got people above him, right? That being said, I'm not mad at him because he don't have much longer in the sport. He brought you want to know you want to know who really who's really gonna run shit and get shit popping in boxing? Ari Emanuel. And the thing is, people ain't talking about him. I've been hearing all these names. I've been hearing Canelo's name, Crawford's name. I've been hearing about TKO boxing. I've been seeing Turkey's name, but I don't really hear that Ari Emanuel like I'm supposed to. I even went on Twitter and I typed his name in. People are not even tweeting about Ari Emanuel like that. So I'm like, damn, y'all people don't really know what's going on. So am I mad at Turkey? Nah. What is there to be mad at? He is who he is. Let me see. So you're not seeing this as a fight for the ages, for the fan? I don't think it's a fight for the ages. I think it's gonna be a boring ass fight. I think a lot of you guys that are looking at it like that are gonna be very, very, very disappointed. It's not gonna be this great fight stylistically. It's two counterpunchers. Guys, that are at the end of their careers in their late 30s. It's not. Listen. There's no way. I don't want to say there's no way in hell it'll be a great fight. It could be a great fight if Crawford gets overly aggressive. Canelo's counterpunching. It can make for an explosion. Vice versa. Canelo gets overly aggressive. Crawford looks really strong. Look like these are two great fighters. I'm not trying to say that, but in my opinion, I don't see it. I'm sorry. I don't see it, guys. I don't see it. If there's one thing I know about boxing, I know about explosive fights. I'm the one that told y'all in advance Angelo Leo was going to knock out Bernardo Lopez and send him to the hospital. I'm the one that told y'all in advance that Brian Omajiri versus Jenzaki was going to be one of them really explosive fights. So I know about explosive fights. This is not an explosive fight. This is probably going to turn into a high-level chess match, But, I'm going to say that for the breakdown, but it's not a fight for the ages. I don't view it as that. It's only a fight for the ages in terms of, the names, in terms of what's at stake for both guys. But in terms of from an entertainment standpoint, from a stylistic standpoint, it ain't no fight for the ages. Some of y'all out here trying to make this out to be like it's going to be like Mike McCallum and James Toney or something like that. Like, it ain't that kind of fight. Like, let me see. The Falling Star. Shout out to my main man, the Falling Star out there in the land of the rising sun, my second home. He says, if Inoue is successful with the numbers on Facebook, do you think that Mark Zuckerberg will get the seeded idea that it's to invest in more combat sports and streaming boxing fights? I don't think they really need Mark Zuckerberg to invest. The software is there. It's up to the promotional companies to just put the fights on Facebook and good streaming quality. I don't understand why everybody's mad about Inoue being on Facebook. I think it's cool. It's like, Top Rank don't got a TV deal right now. Facebook, I believe in America, Facebook has roughly 250 million users. In the UK, they have about 50 or 60 million users. So therefore, you're talking about potential for 300. I mean, he's not going to get 300 million viewers, but he has a high chance for viewership. So I don't see what's so bad about it. That's just how I look at it. But everybody has their way of thinking. Everybody has what they think is right for the sport, and I ain't knocking on it. Shout out to my man Usam. I don't know why it won't let me highlight your comment, but he says, and it's a super chat. He says, "Fuck TKO, they are ruining UFC, wrestling, and now boxing. Dana White is a big fat walrus, and the Habs are at winning the Atlantic Division, by the way. So there you go. You talking about hockey? Oh, you don't want to talk about the hockey. You can't talk about the hockey with me because my team runs the sport. Forget hockey. The Florida Panthers is the best team in professional sports. So you can listen. That the Canadians can have the meaningless division title. The Panthers are going to three-peat this year. You understand me? We're going to be the first team in American sports since the Shaq Kobe Lakers to three-peat. Okay, so you can have the division title. But as far as TKO and Dana White and all that stuff, listen, man. I've read things about some of the things that TKO boxing has done for wrestling. Like I've seen the wrestling fans' complaints about Dana White and TKO and things like that, and they have been good reviews. It's been pretty piss poor reviews from the wrestling fans. So if some of the things that they've done in wrestling come to boxing, then I think it'll be very detrimental to our sport, and not just the fighters. Because a lot of you guys think, oh, well, BT, we don't care about the fighters. We just want to see the fights. At least you get in the fights, BT. We're getting the fights. Like that's all y'all keep telling me, right? But no, some of y'all will not get the fights. There will be some fights you don't get. Look at Jai Pataya. Jai Pataya ain't getting no fights. You understand? Joseph Parker, he's been beating everybody. He can't get no fights. So it's like I don't know what y'all want. I am assuming that you're going to the Inoue fight. Hell no, I'm not going to no fights. Listen, I'm not going. Listen, I want to be abundantly clear about something, guys. I'm covering this because I'm covering these fights because it's my job and I have responsibility to my audience and that kind of stuff. But really and truthfully, you want the honest truth, I don't care about Canelo and Crawford, and I don't even really care about Inoue. Right now I'm in the Bay Area. I'm in training camp with my boy Yugo Osaki, the WBC Youth Light Flyweight Champion, the WBO Asia Pacific Light Flyweight Champion, top 15 in all four sanctioning bodies. He's fighting in a title eliminator October 3rd in upstate New York. He wins that fight. He becomes mandatory to Rene Santiago and potentially fights for a world title in his next fight in the first 2 quarters at some point in the first 4 to 5 months of next year, right? So I've been here in camp with him for like 2 weeks in the Bay Area, and that's all I care about. I don't really care about nothing else but Yugo Osaki. I'll be honest with you. The same way that when I was in camp with Angelo Leo, I didn't care about nothing in boxing but Angelo Leo, and that's how I treat everything. But I'm in California. I'm not in Japan. Everybody always thinks I'm in Japan. It's funny. Everybody, I get friends on Instagram. They always think like I'm in Japan, but I'm very much not in Japan. I'm definitely not in Japan. I'm not in Vegas. Yeah, so interesting stuff, right? So I want to highlight this right here, right? So Usam said it right here. And by the way, hold on, let me read the super chat because I don't know why I'm on the phone, and I hate when I use streamer on the phone. So this is a super chat. I wanted to acknowledge it on the screen. He said fuck TKO. He said that Dana White is a walrus. He says that Dana White be eating that Rocky Road ice cream, getting real wide, getting real fat on the sides, right? That's what he's saying. And he's saying the Montreal Canadiens are gonna win the Atlantic Division, which I don't care about because the Florida Panthers are gonna win their 3rd straight Stanley Cup. So it's all good. But anyway, going back down. So yeah, I've heard, going back to Usam's comment up here. Hold on. He said, where is he? Right there. So he says TKO was charging up to $70,000 for tickets to WrestleMania. $70,000, yes. And that's been one big issue that I was reading about. I was reading about it on Twitter earlier today, that a lot of wrestling fans are complaining that basically it was actually the TKO president, a guy named Mark Shapiro. You guys know him? Mark Shapiro. He stated that pretty much Vince McMahon, when he was the guy running things in wrestling for WWE, that his focus was to price the tickets in a manner that would at least be somewhat affordable to families to come out and take their loved ones to wrestle, to all the wrestling events. And pretty much what he said, that that is not a focus of TKO. TKO really only cares about profit. So think about that, guys. This is TKO. This is TKO Holdings, which is now making their way into boxing. So if they're doing that in wrestling, you guess what? They're gonna do that in boxing. In boxing, that'll be a big problem because I understand if they make big fights, everybody want to come out and watch. But boxing is primarily a blue collar sport. So you're talking about a lot of lower income to lower middle income, fans, like blue collar fans. And TKO Boxing, if they use the same business model with the ticket prices, they're gonna price out boxing's core fan base. So then what's left? Boxing in America could turn into boxing in Saudi, but like 5 people at the fights. You understand? So hold on. My man said, somebody asked me a really interesting question. He said, where is it? By the way, shout out to everybody here. I know it's late. TSM wants to know, if I wasn't in camp, would I have gone to the Inoue or Canelo? Inoue, I wouldn't have gone to because really and truthfully, guys, I love Inoue as a fighter, but I've chased that man around enough for 10 lifetimes to try to get my interview with him. I'm tired of it, so probably not. And the Merjan fight isn't a fight that I'm excited about, and I don't really have the money to go to Japan at this moment. So it's like it's not something that I would have did. But a Canelo, I'd probably be at Canelo. If I wasn't in camp, I probably would be at the Canelo-Crawford fight. But I'm not, like, trust me, guys, when I tell you, I am not sad about it at all. If anything, I'm telling you guys know how highly I regard those experiences being in camp with Angelo Leo. And I'm looking forward to the next Angelo Leo training camp whenever that happens. But I'll put this training camp with Yugo Osaki right up there. Like it's one of the most enjoyable things I've ever been a part of in my time in boxing, and it's great. Let me see. Wrestling has been asked for years. You shouldn't be paying anything for it. I agree. I agree. Wrestling has been trash since like 2006 and up, 2007 and up, pretty much. You understand? All right, let me go to a couple more comments, and then I'll go to my next talking point. So, has the Ring magazine reached out to you about press? What do you mean? Like, Ring magazine? No, Ring magazine has reached out to me about anything. They did use one of my quotes from my recent Angelo Leo interview for an article, but I haven't talked to anybody from Ring magazine. I know Doug Fisher, but I haven't talked to him recently. So, nah, I'm good. I'm good on the Ring. Let me see. Okay, last comment, and I'll go to my next talking point. Usam says wrestling has a very niche fan base, but if they keep this up, they will lose their core fan base. Casuals want to pay this much for a piss poor product. That's what I'm saying. Like, and it's gonna happen in boxing too. If wrestling is any indication, it's gonna happen in our beloved sport of boxing soon enough. So make of that what you will. Let me see. Did I miss anything? Okay, I didn't miss anything. So look, go on my next talking point, and some of y'all need to consider this because I think this is a reality that a lot of people haven't considered, and they're not really trying to consider, right? And as you can see in the banner, it says, "Is this Turkey Al Sheikh's swan song? Ari Emanuel is about to replace him as the new most powerful man in boxing. This will fundamentally change the sport forever." So let's talk about it. Okay. So for like the last 2 years and some change, Turkey Al Sheikh has been running things. And I've been very vocal about how I feel about Saudi and Riyadh season in boxing, but I really do feel like, and I've always told you guys this. I've always said that those super cards, the way things were in Saudi over the last year and a half, 2 years, I've always told you guys this is going to be a small moment in time. So enjoy the fights while you can, enjoy the super cards while you can, because it's not going to be like this forever. And here we are. We're here, and TKO Boxing promoting their first fight in the sport. And Ari Emanuel is about to become the most powerful man in boxing, and I feel like nobody's talking about it. Like, this is not a talking point on any mainstream boxing show. I don't really see it being discussed on Twitter. I don't see it really being discussed anywhere, really. And I feel like it should be discussed because who is Ari Emanuel? Some of you guys, I mean, I know some of you guys already follow WWE and you know about TKO, so I don't got to explain to you guys, but some people may not know who Ari Emanuel is. So who is he? Let's break that down piece by piece, brick by brick, to the best of our abilities here on True School Sports. So Ari Emanuel, okay, we know that he is the founding partner of Endeavor, right? Endeavor, talent agency. This is the same Endeavor. This is the same company in Endeavor that actually merged with the illustrious talent agency of William Morris, right? William Morris was a very, very powerful and influential talent agency in the music industry. William Morris promoted acts like the Rolling Stones, the Beach Boys. I mean, come on, man. You're not getting much bigger in American pop culture music than the Rolling Stones and the Beach Boys. He merged with these people. So that right there will tell you, like his level of influence there. We also know that he is the chairman of TKO Holdings. So he is the guy sitting on the throne of TKO Holdings. This is the company that owns what you call it, owns the WWE, owns UFC, and this is the company that is going to try now to do what nobody's ever done in the history of humanity, which is own boxing. And I think they got a great chance at doing that. If you look at it on paper and you're breaking it down on paper, this might be the most influential man that's ever been in boxing. Like, with all due respect to Al Heyman and Arum and all these guys over the years, they don't have what this guy has at his disposal. It's just the truth. Like, they don't. Let's run through it. So why am I saying this? Why is BT saying that Ari Emanuel might be the most influential man to ever have entered into the sport of boxing? Well, if you just go look at just go look at the man's family tree, right? If you go and you study the man's family tree, his brother, Raheem Emanuel, okay, big time guy. We're talking about guy. His brother, one of his brothers, was the former mayor of Illinois, right? Former Illinois House Representatives representative. And then he also was on the White House Chief of Staff for Barack Obama during one of his presidential terms. So you're talking about connections to the White House. You're talking about influential, forget friends, influential family members. That's even more than a friend, right? So that's one of his brothers. Then you pivot to his other brother. He got another brother, right? His other brother, you got, what's his name? Ezekiel Emanuel. Now, I found this very interesting because you guys know I'm very, I love Japanese boxing. Like, it's a passion of mine. It's something that's giving me a lot of joy and meaning in covering boxing and keep me going. And, funny enough, Ezekiel Emanuel, Ari's other brother, he's actually the U.S. ambassador to Japan. So think about what we've been seeing from Turki Al-Sheikh and look at how they're starting to poach some Japanese talent. You look at like Reita Tsutsumi, Hayata Tsutsumi. They're in this whole fold now. So I don't know how politically they can make that work, but there's some connections there. So yeah, we're talking about influential, politically aligned brothers. We're talking about owning high-level entertainment entities and things like that, like WWE, like UFC, like Endeavor, things like that. What else we got here? Oh, okay. So this is where things really, really get interesting, right? And by the way, guys, like I wanted to be very honest. I don't really give a fuck about politics. It's not really my thing, but I'm only using politics to illustrate how important and how influential Ari Emanuel is. So this is not a political channel. I'm not giving any political opinions. I'm only just disclosing his political connections because they do carry weight and they are, whether directly or indirectly, going to influence the sport of boxing. So that's why I'm bringing them up. So Ari Emanuel does have a relationship with Donald Trump. They share a common interest in UFC, even though they do have contrasting political views. Ari Emanuel, he's donated like millions of dollars to the Democratic Party and Hillary Clinton and those kind of things. Donald Trump, obviously Republican, so they conflict politically, but they align in the terms of business interests and just interests, with the UFC, right? And then it also ties in together because UFC, as many of you I'm sure know, they're planning a big show July the 4th next year, 2026, at the White House, right? So you mean if the UFC, a company that's owned by Dana White and Ari Emanuel, if they can get a show at the White House, you don't think they can get the Muhammad Ali Act changed? I mean, come on, guys. I mean, shit's about to really get real in our sport, and I don't think people really realize the scope and the magnitude of what's happening. I hear about Canelo, I hear about Crawford, I hear about Sean Zittel, I hear about Turkey, but I'm not hearing that name. I'm not hearing Ari Emanuel enough, and I thought I should be hearing about Ari Emanuel, really and truthfully, because if they do follow through and just getting this Muhammad Ali Act completely revised and whatever they want changed to it, then we're gonna have a monopoly in boxing. And this guy, I can honestly say, this guy, in my opinion, is the first guy that has this level of political connections on American soil to get this done. It's insane. It's actually insane when you start breaking it down and you look at who he knows and who he's tied to and these kind of things. And Canelo and Crawford, I feel like they're getting out the sport at the right time, because the sport that they're the sport as it currently is that they're participating in tomorrow will not be the sport that the young fighters after them will have to deal with, and the business won't be the same. The business that Crawford and Canelo dealt with is not the same business that their younger fighters are, like the young Mexican fighters like Emiliano Vargas and or Keyshawn Davis or whoever you want to name. They got to deal with something completely different, a whole new climate in boxing, a new world order, if you will, if you want to just be blunt and frank about it. As you guys know, Turkey Al-Sheikh, Dana White, they've spoken openly and candidly about a league where they just had their underdog fight series yesterday in Vegas at the Fontainebleau, and basically you can fight in the underdog series, right? And you can graduate to the league, which is going to be obviously Riyadh season and these kind of things, which there's positive and negatives to these things. The positives are that for fighters at a lower level, you can get more stable pay for yourself as you come up through the ranks, right? However, once you graduate past a certain level, you will not get paid what you're worth, as we've seen in UFC. Why do you think that Francis Ngannou had to come to boxing? Because this guy was the baddest man on the planet in UFC. He was the heavyweight champion, and he never made 7 figures. So it's like that he had to come to boxing to get what he was worth. So in UFC, you may get paid better earlier on, but in the long run, you're gonna get fucked. Like, I'm sorry to be like curse and be blunt, but that's what happens in boxing. Whether it's good or bad, most of the time you get paid what you're worth. You get paid what you can command and what you can generate. That's the sport of boxing for you. Canelo Alvarez and Crawford are getting what they're getting because they earned the right to get there. Now Inoue is getting what he's getting because he earned the right to get there. Of course, there's bad contracts in boxing. Of course, there's fighters that don't have the best situations, but that's just due to them negotiating terrible situations with themselves and agreeing to it. In the UFC, you don't have no negotiating. It's either you fight for the UFC and Dana White, or you don't really got much chance to progress. So I just feel like, with Ari Emanuel in the fold, we are on the cusp. And the reason why I titled this live as this being the 11th hour is because we're in the 11th hour of boxing, the sport and the business as we know it. September 13th, Terence Crawford and Canelo will fight. September 14th, it'll be the dawn of a new day. And whether or not that day is good or bad, that's up to your interpretation. But it's gonna be new. And it's weird. I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday, someone I know in boxing, and I told him, I said, you know what? I can't think of a time in my life where it's been worse to be a free agent than right now. Because if you're a free agent in boxing right now, where the hell do you go? Top Rank don't got a TV deal. Golden Boy can only do but so much. Matchroom don't have no really pull in the American market or even British market anymore. And PBC doesn't really have fight dates. So what is a free agent fighter to do these days? It's a very, very difficult question to answer. And right now, TKO boxing is cornering the market. So if they offer you a situation that's not favorable to you, then you got to take it. And on top of that, it's not even the best for the fans because, like I said, we've already seen under the Turkey Riyadh season model, problems happen for guys like Jal Pataya and Joseph Parker. These guys aren't getting honored with fights that they've earned. No, they're getting fucked over. They're getting screwed. So, those are my thoughts on that. What do you guys think? And I think, and the last thing I'll say, I think with the entry of Ari Emanuel into boxing, it'll be the decreased, much My bad. Okay, it'll be a much. Can you guys hear me? Let me know if you can hear me because I just took my headphones off. I gotta try my phone. I'm gonna sit right here. I'm gonna plop my ass right on this bed, and I'm gonna talk to you guys. We're gonna give you that. We're gonna give you guys that world class boxing talk. Late at night, rain, sleet, snow. It don't matter. Your boy BT is here. But yeah, with him in the sport now, him being Ari Emanuel, Turkey Al Sheikh, I think will lose influence in boxing. He will not really be as involved as he used to be. I really believe that to a degree that this Crawford Canelo fight is Turkey Al Sheikh's swan song. As crazy as it may sound, that's what I believe. Anyway, I'm sure we got some great comments because I was if the Saudis step into hockey, oh hell no, let's not do that, man. Hockey's in a great place, man. The Florida Panthers is running the sport right now. We don't need the Saudis hockey. I don't think the Saudis would ever be in hockey though, because hockey's not mainstream or lucrative enough, in my opinion. I don't think it is. So yeah. Let me see. Do you feel that Reito is being pushed harder than Hayato Sutsumi? Yes, he definitely is. And I don't think he's better. I really, really don't think he's better. UFC had been pricing out their fans for years. Okay, well, I don't know. I don't really follow UFC. I'm just reading what I was sold earlier. I'm just telling you guys what I was reading earlier. You got Camel Racing. Okay, hold on. Let me scroll down because I know I missed a lot of comments. I hate you guys. You got hookah lounges on every corner. Y'all are crazy. Okay, let me go all the way down. Let me see. The Eastern Europeans can benefit at the beginning of TKO, like Murtaladziev and Johnny Beck. Yeah, again, much like Turkey. And shout out to Angel Diaz. Much like with Turkey Al Sheikh. Just because I think TKO boxing is bad for the majority doesn't mean I think it's bad for everybody. Like, look at two guys that I know that are with TKO. I know you got Ivan Ditchko and you got Daniel Lusinov, two Central Asian fighters, two world class fighters that haven't been able to get the career going. They're both with TKO, and Ditchko's fighting on this card, so good for him. BT fighters are already getting screwed under the Ali Act. Fighters getting paid $5K to $10K. So what's really the difference with allowing TKO? The difference is that if a fighter gets screwed under the Muhammad Ali Act, the fighter gets screwed under the Muhammad Ali Act because they signed the contract and they negotiated those badass terms. With the TKO, there is no negotiating. It's just you do what the fuck I say, or that's it. Fighters get screwed in most cases, from my experience, right? And over the last year and a half, 2 years, I feel like I've talked to a lot of different fighters at a lot of different levels and seen a lot of different situations, and I've read a lot of different contracts. The common theme I keep seeing with fighters is that they just don't have they don't have nobody good behind them or anybody that knows what they're doing, or they don't really understand the magnitude of what they're signing. So they just want to fight. Promoters, listen, fighters just want to fight, and promoters want to use these fighters as much as they can for their benefit, right? So when a promoter hears a fighter say, "Yeah, I don't care about the business. I just care about the money," they love that. So to answer your question again, the difference is that if somebody gets screwed over now, it's from a lack of understanding. It's from a lack of maybe having good people around them, but it's not because of a monopoly. It's not because of somebody's bossing them around. It's because, they just didn't understand what they're doing. If that gets taken away, then it's just a monopoly. You do what you're told no matter what. Whether it's good for you or bad for you, you just do it. Otherwise, you can't fight. UFC fighter contracts are crazy. New rules come up that fighters have no say over. The latest thing in the new contract, fighters have to agree to not be part of future lawsuits. Exactly. So I didn't even know that. See, you put me on game. TKO screws fighters because you have to be part of TKO to fight for their belt and won't be allowed to fight any other champions. Exactly. So look, it's going to create more division in boxing because you're going to have the TKO champion of the world, and then you're still going to have the WBC, WBA, IBF, and WBO champion of the world. So let's just say, I don't know, I'll use the featherweight division because it's a division I'm a big fan of, right? So let's say, I don't know, Otabek Komatov. Let's use him, right? Because he's a fighter that, guys aren't eager to fight, and there's not really any financial incentive to fight him because he's really good and he might beat you, and he's not a lot of money in fighting him, right? So let's say a guy like Otabek Komatov wants to fight one of the champions, right? But he signs TKO. And let's say if he signs TKO, let's just say hypothetically, Otabek Komatov is the TKO featherweight champion of the world, right? And let's just say that Angelo Leo wants to fight Otabek Komatov. Well, guess what? Otabek Komatov can't fight Angelo Leo because Angelo Leo has the IBF belt, and you can't fight for the TKO belt if you have one of the other sanctioning body titles, because the whole purpose of the TKO belt is to eliminate the other sanctioning body titles, right? So it's gonna cause more conflict in the sport. You're gonna see some guys that are really good that are in the TKO rankings, and then some guys that are really good that are still in the other sanctioning body rankings. And I'm telling you, we're gonna get there's gonna be a lot of hypothetical matchups that don't get made because of this now. Watch. You're gonna see. You're gonna see. Just give it a little time. Y'all want fight predictions. Y'all want some fight predictions? Let me see. Let me go through a couple more comments, and I'll get to them in like 5 to 10 minutes. The Falling Star says, the Inoue fighting in Japan for so long seems to pay off in the long run. Now TKO on the sport. The Junto and Inoue would be near next to impossible if they were the ones handling their careers earlier. Well, that's different, man. Falling Star, you could I'm not going to compare Japanese boxing to anything because Japanese boxing is a different animal on its own. It really, really is. And there's a lot of things that are not in the media, that are not public information, that you got to really be in this to really understand. And I'm just now starting to understand certain things. So it's different over there. But I see what you're saying. I don't think it's quite the same. Just how you made a video about Yabuki getting screwed, only making 19.5K. Yeah, I mean, again, I can't speak to who Yabuki has behind him. I know he was with 3150 Promotions and Kameda in them, but I don't know who he has like part of his team. I'm telling you guys keep thinking I'm just saying this to say it. No, guys, your fighter is only as good as his team. And what I mean when I say that is a fighter will only get so many opportunities based on who he has behind him. Not just promoters, but I'm saying people in his camp, people that know how to read contracts and do certain things. I don't know who he has behind him, but clearly somewhere along the way there was miscalculation because it led him to this purse bid, and he's only making 19.5K. So someone screwed up somewhere along the way, and it sucks, but it's the nature of the sport. It's the nature of the business. Let me see. Y'all want them fight predictions, don't you? Y'all want them fight predictions. Y'all are eager for all them fights. I see people asking about Lester Martinez. Y'all want me to? You're asking about Japan fights. Listen, we'll go to our last talking point. All right. Now look, you guys been asking me this for months. You've been asking me, you've been saying, BT, what do you think about Canelo-Crawford? And I've been telling you guys that I have a certain prediction of what I think is going to happen, right? So this is my definitive breakdown. This is my definitive prediction. All right. You can take this to the bank. You can cash your checks because this is what I believe is going to happen. This is my official on the record prediction. So before I get to my prediction, let me break this fight down because I think both fighters, like they have an old saying. They say that sometimes the mind is willing, like the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak, or something like that, or the flesh is willing, but the spirit is weak. I feel like although Crawford and Canelo are both they both look to be in supreme condition, the reality is they're both in the late 30s. They both got a lot of miles on the odometer, and they made like the body might be willing, or the spirit might be willing, but the flesh might be weak. So age is a big part of the reason why I think this will be a boring fight, right? Another reason I think it'll be a boring fight is because these guys are both very smart fighters. These guys understand what they're up against, and I think they, beyond all the trash talk and beyond all the back and forth, I think there's a lot of respect there. And with a lot of respect and with a lot of awareness of who you're fighting, it can lead to a lot of rounds where guys are feeling each other out. Add on top of that, that you have two of the best counterpunchers of the last decade fighting each other. And I think you guys have a scenario for a fight which is going to have two counterpunchers waiting each other out, jockeying for position, trying to get that lead for leverage, trying to bait the other to overcommit into offense so that they can land their shot. So I'm so serious, guys. You know how in some fights we only get like 3-4 hour, 3 rounds, 3 fill-out rounds, 4 fill-out rounds. I'm telling you guys, you might get 7 to 8 straight fill-out rounds. Rounds 1 through 8 might be fill-out rounds. I really believe that. Because let's be real, Terence Crawford's not gonna get on his front foot and go try to look for Canelo and knock him out in the early part of the fight. They know that Canelo historically gasses out towards the end of the fight. So expect Crawford to circle the ring, box, move, feint, probe. And when he sees openings, he will commit and he will do what Terence Crawford has always done to the best of his abilities, which is thread the needle and punch in between the guard of Canelo and try to exploit that high guard. That's what he's going to try to do. And he's going to pick his spots very, very meticulously, especially early in the fight when Canelo was strong and has gas in the tank. Now, Canelo, on the other hand, I think from his standpoint, the fight is more interesting because even though Crawford doesn't look small next to Canelo, 168 is the weight class Canelo has campaigned at for half a decade now, and this is his weight. He's strong at this weight. He's used to this weight. This is not anything new to him. So he's tasked with two things. He can either do what I think he's going to do, which is be the counterpuncher, be patient, and wait for Crawford to get on the front foot and use Crawford's aggressiveness against him, or he could get on the front foot and try to impose himself and test Terence Crawford's nuts early in this fight. Now, I don't think that's gonna happen. He knows what he's up against. I think he's gonna wait it out too. So my prediction for this fight, guys, as I've been telling you for a long time now, and as I stated on Twitter and Instagram earlier today, is I think this fight is going to be a listless affair of two counterpunchers, two very smart elite counterpunchers waiting each other out. And I think it's going to be a fight where critical punches are going to come few and far between. And I think Canelo Alvarez will win this fight because I think it's going to be a low output fight. It's going to be a low output fight, and Canelo Alvarez will fight at his pace, and he will win I don't know. I'm going to say he wins a 115, 113 decision. And I think after the fight, people will probably say it's controversial because a lot of people are probably going to get Bud some sympathy rounds because just for him being the small guy coming up, he'll get a couple sympathy rounds. It'll be close enough to where it will be disputed. I think Canelo gets the nod because Canelo is the fighter that is the bigger guy commercially, and I don't think this is the fight for TKO boxing in Turkey and all that. I think the fight that is really the fight is Canelo versus Hamza Shiraz. You understand? So I think Crawford's will be the casualty of Canelo and Hamza Shiraz having to happen. So it'll be a listless affair. Two counterpunchers waiting each other out. Expect anywhere from 7 to 8 straight fill-out rounds. And I think people are going to call Canelo a hype job who gets decisions, but Terence Crawford is going to get all the credit in the world for going 12 rounds with the undisputed super middleweight champion of the world. And I think it's going to be very fun to talk about here in the aftermath of it. So that's my prediction. It's on record. Ain't no going back now. Now, I would love Terence Crawford to win. I'm a much bigger fan of Terence Crawford as a fighter than I am Canelo. Honestly, I really am. But I just think it's too much. It's too much for him. But we shall see. Shout out to Angel Diaz. He says, I feel he's going to get on the front foot sometimes, BT, and get inside and try to impose physicality. Let's see. If he does, Angel, I don't think it'll be in the early rounds. Do you think Crawford is way more skilled than Canelo, or does it look the way because Crawford has been fighting guys his size or smaller, whereas Canelo is always a smaller guy? No, I would say, in my opinion, I think Crawford is a little more skilled than Canelo, but I don't think the skill gap is so wide to how people are making it out to be. Canelo Alvarez is an A-level fighter himself. He's very intelligent, front foot dominant, counter puncher. He can walk you down. He's got an underrated jab. He's got a granite chin. He doesn't have like I don't think he's a great finisher, right? I don't think he's a great finisher, but he's got that heavy thudding power. And then when you couple his heavy thudding power with great timing, and you know, an elite array of counter punching setups and those kind of things, he's a dangerous matchup for anybody. So yeah, I think that's how I'm viewing it. That was a very conservative take. I mean, it's going to be a very conservative fight. So, I mean, there it is. You can say it's a conservative take, but I think for as conservative as my take is going to be, I think this is going to be one of the most conservative big fights in history. I really do. A lot of framing from Crawford. Yeah, it'll be a lot of framing from Crawford, but like, I think framing from Crawford is still, he has to be very selective of when he does that, especially if Crawford frames out of the southpaw stance. So if you're the southpaw stance, your liver's right in the front. So you frame the wrong way, you misjudge something, boom, Canelo let you deliver. Like it's something he's at. He has to be very cognizant of where he's at, his range. You understand? So we'll see how it goes, man. Listen, I would love nothing more for this fight to be great and for it to be like the fight of the year and those kind of things, but I know better. I know a lot better. Canelo has some thick ass bones, so you know those punches are heavy and they're very heavy and thudding. Canelo's only problem is that over the last couple of years, I'm gonna say like the last 3 years, he's really just leaving loads up on everything. You know, he wasn't always like that. You know, when he was younger, when he was fighting like the guys like James Kirkland and Austin Trout, and you know, when he was on his come up, like he used to actually change the speed of his punch. He used to vary his attack, but he's not like that no more. He's a different guy now. But you know what? Sometimes it takes, and I've seen it. Like I can speak to this because I've seen this shit with my own eyes, being around Angel Leo all these years. Sometimes it takes a certain opponent to bring out the best in a fighter in training and preparation and in the ring. So it's very possible that's in play here with Canelo. Bud is going to be on the front foot in this fight, actually, Paige. Oh, okay. We shall see, man. I mean, I saw Bomac was saying that they're going to walk Canelo down later in the fight. So I don't think, look, I think Terence Crawford early in this fight, I think he's in a box the first like 6, 7, maybe even 8 rounds. He's in a box like he did against Ray Beltran. He's in a box how he did against Victor Postal. It's going to be like that. A lot of circling around the ring, a lot of probing. And I think, you know, he's going to pick his spots very carefully. But see, my biggest concern for Crawford is that because, you know, you went from 47, then you fought at 54. Now you're fighting at 68. You've never fought at 60, let alone 68. I don't think he'll be able to maintain enough speed for it to be enough of an advantage against Canelo. Like now, if he had some fights up here and had really adjusted himself to the weight, I would say okay. I would say maybe he had a better chance to maintain his speed for 12 rounds. But I don't think Crawford's speed is going to be as big of a factor as it needs to be for him to win. You know, that's really how I feel. I feel like I think people are going to be very disappointed. Is this lean Canelo a body transformation, or was he just out of shape with Skull? I think it's a body transformation, and I'm gonna say yes. He probably didn't take Skull serious. He probably didn't even give the best part of himself in training, and and that's why he looked how he looked, and that's why the fight played how it played out. But yeah, definitely he definitely went through a body transformation. I also wouldn't rule out, because we gotta call a spade with both of them. You know, it's very possible that both of them could be on some special vitamins for this fight, and I'll leave it at that. They could both be on special vitamins for this fight, and may the person with the best vitamins win. Do you think there'll be a final fight where the 4 belts mean anything in the near future? Like another undisputed fight. I mean, let me see. Who's the closest thing to being undisputed right now? Maybe, I don't know. It's a good question. Yeah, I don't know, man. The undisputed in the 4-belt era may be done with TK. Like that's what I'm trying to tell you guys. With Ari Emanuel entering boxing and TKO boxing's genesis in the sport, which is tomorrow. It's very possible we may have seen our last undisputed fight in the 4-belt era, because you might get the era of now, like the TKO belt. Like I'm telling you guys, like a year from now, people might start arguing in boxing amongst themselves, like, yo, no, the IBF belt isn't the real title, the TKO belt's the real title. Like you might start hearing things like that in the near future. So don't be surprised. Shout out to Sean Ramsey. If Bud beats Canelo, he should have one more defense and then fight Benavidez. Oh my God, he's not fighting Benavidez. Sean, it's wishful thinking. I mean, I feel like if he's at 68, he should do it, but that's not gonna happen. Let's be real. Would Turkey and the ring be involved with Inoue and Nakatani? That's a great question. Because they're gonna be involved with both of their next fights. Inoue is supposed to fight Picasso if he gets through merge on. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's in Japan. See, look, to my understanding, right? If it's on Japanese soil, he can be involved, but he ain't gonna be running. He's not gonna be running anything in Japan. Listen, when it comes to boxing on Japanese soil, whether directly or indirectly, Mr. Honda is the man running the show. You could love it, you could hate it, but it's just how things go over there. So they can be involved, but they ain't they're not running nothing in Japan. I'll tell you that right now. Shout out to my man David. He says the WBC president is crying everywhere, talking about TKO, Turkey, and Dana being bad for boxing. He must know something. Mauricio Sulaiman, he probably does know something. He probably knows something that we don't know, and I think that I don't know, man, but like okay, I agree with his sentiments, but who is like you gotta know like know your role, like know who you are. Yo, Mauricio Sulaiman has been bad for boxing too. Like Mauricio Sulaiman is part of the reason why we're here. Mauricio Sulaiman is why we have a Turkey Outlaw Sheik in boxing, because you didn't make Canelo Alvarez fight Dave Benavidez when you're supposed to, and there's been many examples of you not honoring your own ranking system. So he can cry all he wants, but he's part of the reason we have this monster now in boxing. Now, hold on. Shout out to my guy Chris. He says, "What are my thoughts on the real fight?" He wants to know about that real fight. He wants to know about that Christian and Billy, that Lester Martinez. Listen, man, great fight. I think on paper one of the best fights of 2025. Should be told, like I said in my YouTube short earlier, you can miss the main event with Canelo-Crawford. Do whatever you want. You miss it if you want. It's not going to be an exciting fight. I'm telling you that right now. It's going to be a boring ass fight. But don't miss this fight. Don't miss in Billy versus Lester, because you're talking about one of boxing's premier volume punchers taking on one of the most physically strong, hardest punching fighters, young fighters in the sport, and Lester Martinez. I think it's a great fight. I think it's a true pick'em fight. Thinking Billy's the favorite, but I'm going with Lester Martinez, man. I think I've never really seen Billy get pushed back like extensively, and I think Martinez is probably the first guy since I've been following him, Billy, who has the ability to do that. And I think he's going to do that. And I think he's going to get him out of there in the later round. So I got Martinez with the upset special. Late round stoppage, something like that. Now it's going to be a good fight. Canelo will just win. Hopefully it is. I don't really care who wins. I really could give a rat's ass about who wins the fight. But, as long as it's a good fight, that's what I care about. Because boxing is going to be on a big stage tomorrow night, and I would like boxing to be represented in a good way. Crawford and Canelo have a responsibility to boxing to put on a good fight. You know. That being said, I don't know. I'm not trying to be pessimistic. I'm not trying to like rain on everybody's parade. I really believe it's not going to be an exciting fight, guys. I can't see it. Less like Terrence Crawford just becomes a retard and just comes forward and tries to knock Canelo out and gets overly aggressive. Then I can see things getting bad for him. My opinion, having 4 belts lessens the legitimacy of a number one boxer. Having 1 belt makes everything simpler. I used to think that. But I think after watching how Turki Al-Sheikh has moved for the last 2 or 3 years, I don't think that anymore. I don't. Now look, in theory, it would make a lot of sense to have 1 belt and just be 1 champion, right? But okay, if the person who is administering, see, look, you could have 1 belt, but my opinion is that there should be a checks and balances system. So there should be a committee, an independent committee that has nothing to do with the company, that has like their ranking system, and the company follows that ranking system, and they can't be bought off. You know, I know that won't happen, but I'm saying that's how it should be. But see, like, I really think about Jai Opetaia. Every time I think about there being only 1 belt, I think about Jai Opetaia and how he literally can't get big fights, and it's literally because Turki Al-Sheikh, when it comes to Jai Opetaia specifically, is being a cheap ass, won't pay anybody. So, you know, that's where I'm at with that. Turki and Dana are the problem, but American boxing promoter has Inoue fighting on Facebook. I guess that was Turki and Dana White's fault too. Actually, I mean, not directly, but kind of, yeah. Not Dana White, but Turki, yeah. I mean, Turki did subvert the American and is subverting the Japanese boxing market. So, yeah, he did play a minor role in that. But I'm not really against Inoue fighting on Facebook. Like, Facebook got like there's like 250 million American users on Facebook. There's about another 50 million in the UK. He'll be all right. Listen, when people want to see you fight, as long as you make it accessible, they'll watch you fight. But the thing with Inoue too is like Inoue has. So for those of you who don't know, Inoue has 3 promoters. Yes, Inoue has 3 promoters. He's got Hideki Ohashi, his gym promoter, Mr. Honda, the overlord of Japanese boxing, and Bob Arum, the promoter for American TV rights. So I'm just gonna be real and keep it a buck with you guys. Like, whatever happens for Inoue commercially in America it's not a priority to them promoting him. They care about him in Japan as far as getting his Japanese TV rights in order. So this is all the American TV rights are a bonus. I don't think it was really ever a concern for the powers that be to get Inoue on American television for this fight or any of his fights. Really, like the fact that we had him on ESPN all those times was actually like a bonus and a blessing for us, because really, like I'm telling you guys, I know how Japanese boxing people think. I know how things are over there. We're secondary. It's not really a priority. But to answer your question, not Dana. Dana just got here, so I won't blame him. But yeah, I mean, Turki taking away all these dates from American and British boxing, and yeah, actually, yeah, I would say to a degree. Shout out to Sebastian. At least we get the fights. That's right. At least we get the fights. Thank you, champ. Good to see you, champ. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter where someone fights as long as you can watch. As long as you can watch exactly. Jake Paul fought on Triller, and people watched his ass fight. So people want to see Inoue fight. He's got actual commercial value. So therefore, people want to see him fight, and they make it accessible. Well, yeah, 4 belts makes it hard to become undisputed, but when you become undisputed, that makes it more special. You know, the hard things in life make it more special. USA is respect versus Mexican fighters. I don't know. I have no clue what you're trying to say, champ. I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing. I don't know what you're trying to say. Make boxing. Ooh. Okay, I like. This is probably one of the best non-super chat comments I've got ever. So shout out to my man right here. He says, "Make boxing an elective in American school, and it'll grow boxing more than any." Oh my God, yes, that's what we need. And on top of that, I'll also chime in and say that, you know, especially in the inner cities, the crime rate would lower, because a lot of times, you know, speaking as you know, for young kids get into trouble because they don't got nothing to look forward to, nothing to do. They don't have no outlet to really channel their energy into, and especially for men in America, you know, with there being such a big attack on masculinity, they call it what they call it, toxic masculinity now. There's nowhere for men to really be men. It's at a young age. So the boxing gym is supposed to be that sanctuary for men, and it's not in school anymore. So if they made it an elective, I guarantee you within 5 years, like inner city crime rate would go down. Younger men will be stronger, and the American amateur boxing system will return to the prominence and glory that it once had back in the 1980s. I agree with that. Hell yeah. That's what we need to do. Hey BT, I just saw your video on the 30K fight purse. It's insane to see in this day and age. Well, yeah, man. Look, I was talking about that earlier. It's really unfortunate, but that's why I'm always so bullish, and I continue to harp on this because, you know, in the last 3 years, dealing with all kinds of different fighters at all levels, you know, champions, young future stars, middling contenders who can't seem to get a break, you know, gatekeepers. I feel like I've gotten a great perspective on boxing, talking to all these different fighters. And what I've come to learn is that you will live and die by your skills as a fighter, but you will live and die just a bit more by who you have or don't have around you. You know, so you got to have competent people around you that actually care about you, which is hard to come by. Like, I'm not going to lie to the people out there. It's hard to come by. Everyone says get a good trainer, get a good manager, get a good team. It's hard to come by. Good help is hard to find these days. It really is. But it'll make all the difference, because, you know, these fighters, they need a trainer that can sharpen their skills to the best of their abilities, and keep their mind in a nice, healthy place throughout training camp. You need people that, you know, nutritionists. You need people that can push you on social media, because, you know, a lot of times these fighters are tired and they got other things that they need to worry about. So my thing is, I'm saying all this to say that you have to master the whole fight game. To be a good fighter is just not enough. Mayweather showed us that. Floyd Mayweather showed us that. If there's one thing that we learned about Floyd Mayweather during his career, it's that being a great fighter on his own isn't enough. Because before he was Pretty Boy, when he was Money, he fought, you know, he was one of the best fighters in the world, pound for pound, all that stuff. He had to fight Henry Bruselas in Miami, you know, in front of a not so packed house with very minimal media coverage. Top Rank wasn't giving him the opponents that were going to put him over the top for a long time. So all he had to do was kick ass and take names, and then he had to bet on himself and buy himself out of his contract. But one thing that I've learned from studying Mayweather's career is that you can't just master the sport inside the ring. You got to master the sport outside the ring, and you got to master this whole fight game, from everything from your business to your online presence to everything. And so fighters need a team of people. It takes a village, people. And I'm saying that to say that Yabuki is a great fighter. I love Yabuki. He knocked out Kenshiro. He definitely deserves more money based on what he's done in the ring, but he's not a big fighter commercially in Japan. As messed up as that is to say that, that's the truth. That's why he's in the position that he's in. And it sucks, but it's the truth. Last question before I head out. will you interview Sean to tell on what occurred in yesterday's press conference? Listen, I haven't even heard from Sean Zittel since that press conference. I've tagged him in a bunch of stuff on Instagram. We haven't even talked since then. So I'd love to. I'm definitely gonna invite him to. Or I'd love to go on his channel. Either way, I don't care. But I can't say yes because I literally have not even talked to Sean since that happened yesterday. So I don't know. Come to Japan, come to America for big fight nights and gain respect versus Mexican. Oh, they do. This is very, very true. They do. Thank you, Raw Dog, for going ahead and clearing that up. He says, "You're okay with Inoue fighting on Facebook, SMH. Hey, people get ready for more great American boxing promotion. Spence versus Charlo, SMH. Well, yeah, the only reason I'm okay with it is because Naoya Inoue is like one of the biggest stars in boxing, and everyone wants to see him fight. Japanese people want to see him fight. Mexicans want to see him fight. Black Americans want to see him fight. Everyone wants to see the monster fight. So he's a special case. Now, for 99% of fighters, I would say no, that's bullshit. But for him, he's gonna get great viewership, do great numbers, and I would even venture to say he's probably gonna have one of his. I guarantee you. Inoue versus Akhmadaliev on Facebook Live on Top Rank is going to be one of his highest view fights of all time. Now, that's not the case for like almost every fighter in boxing, but he's an outlier. But that's how I'm viewing it. BT, are you hating on Canelo tomorrow? I don't care enough about this fight to hate on either one of them. I don't care about this fight. I'm not as invested as you guys would think. I'm talking about it because it's a big fight and I'm being a professional, but like, I'm not invested to that degree. How do you think Japanese boxing will be if TKO does take over boxing with the talents being in the low weights? Well, look, earlier I mentioned that Ari Emanuel, who is the head of TKO Group Holdings, Ari Emanuel's brother, Ezekiel Emanuel, is literally the U.S. ambassador to Japan. He literally is in the American government, and he is the U.S. ambassador to Japan. So I'm not exactly sure how that's going to be leveraged into Japanese boxing, but I think it will be used in some way to leverage themselves in Japanese boxing, and it makes sense why they've already went ahead and started to start poaching top Japanese talent like Reito Tsutsumi and guys like that. So I'm not entirely sure how it's going to work out, but Japanese boxing won't be the same, which may be a good thing, may not be a good thing, but it won't be the same. Do you think Yoshiki will lose this summer? Yoshiki Takei? I don't know, man. I mean, I'm not really a Yoshiki Takei fan. I think he's overrated as hell. I think he's one of the most overrated fighters from Japan. Straight up. And I don't like how they're not letting Seiya Tsutsumi get the big fights to prove that he's the best bantamweight in Japan. All right. Do you mind explaining what controversy was? Do you mind explaining what the controversy was with Dana and the reporter? What specifically did he ask him? Well, basically, to put it in layman's terms, what Sean told Dana White was, look, you have enough problems in your sport. You can't even do shit right in your sport. Why are you trying to bring that to the sport of boxing? That's what he said in a very professional and diplomatic way. Dana, of course, took offense to this because Sean Zittel put out Dana White has paid out a couple of multi-$100 million lawsuits. He's got a couple pending class action lawsuits his way. And he's just basically what he's telling Dana White is that Dana White is coming into boxing saying that he's trying to build the sport back up and clean it up. But he's bringing forth a business model which has not been productive in his own sport as of late and has produced a lot of negative things in his own sport. And he used things going on with Dana White to back up his points. And so Dana White got mad, and Dana White didn't want to really talk about it, so Dana White deflected. And that's what happened. So that's pretty much in layman terms what happened between my buddy Sean Zittel and Dana White yesterday. How surprised would you be if the fight tomorrow ends up a draw when Turkey mentioned about a second fight in the press conference? Would I be surprised? Um, I definitely wouldn't be surprised. And I'll tell you guys this: like I said, I don't care if Crawford gets knocked the hell out. I don't care if Canelo gets knocked out. I don't care if Crawford gets robbed. I don't care if Canelo gets robbed. I don't care if Crawford gets outboxed. I don't care if Canelo gets outboxed. I don't care about any of the outcomes like that. I'm not that invested into it. The only outcome for this fight that will piss me off to no end is the outcome you just mentioned, a draw. Because I can't handle another Crawford Canelo buildup. I cannot handle dealing with these two fan bases any longer. Who do I got winning tomorrow? I've already given my predictions. I have Canelo on points. I have Lester Martinez by stoppage. I have Fernando Vargas Jr. by stoppage. I have who else is fighting? I have Ivan Disco winning over Franklin. Who else is fighting? What are the other fights? Yeah, those are a couple. I got Inoue. I got Inoue by late stoppage in his fight. Although I'm not like the most confident in it, because Merjon's really punching like that, and Inoue seems to get put on his ass every fight these days. So eventually, if you roll the dice enough times, your luck runs out. So I feel like Inoue's in a dangerous fight. But I want Inoue to win this fight, and I want Inoue to beat Junto because the prophecy needs to be fulfilled. He needs to come to featherweight and get bashed up by Angelo Leo. That's the prophecy. Inoue got to keep his own intact, let everybody think he's going to come to featherweight and then get bashed up by Angelo Leo. That's what needs to happen. Who's winning the Takei versus Medina on the Inoue card? I don't know, man. I haven't really studied up Medina enough to have an opinion. I hope Medina wins, man, because I'm gonna tell you all this because y'all may be like, yo, BT, why do you not like Yoshiki Takei? I'm gonna tell you guys why I have this thing against Yoshiki Takei, because last time I was in Japan, I stayed for a month in Yokohama, right? And Yokohama is the gym that Yokohama is where Ohashi boxing gym is. Yokohama is where Inoue trains. And I used to have to walk through Yokohama Station every single day. And I kid you not, guys, every single day I saw a Yoshiki Takei billboard, a sign in the damn Yokohama Station. And it pissed me off. And I went back and I watched him because I'm like, damn, is Yoshiki Takei this good? And in my opinion, he's not as good as they have him up to be. And it pisses me out even more because I think Seiya Tsutsumi and Yoshiki Takei were to fight, I think Yoshiki Takei will get bashed the hell up by Tsutsumi. But they keep putting guys in front of Tsutsumi to try to get him out the way. Leo, the same guy who lost to Fulton. Well, no. Yeah, he lost to Stephen Fulton, but he's not the same guy anymore. If you go and you watch the film, he's not the same guy anymore. But I'm telling you right now, and I will say this to the mountaintops: if Inoue does get through MJ and he does get through Junto, and if Inoue is feeling froggy, if Inoue is really as great a fighter as you guys think he is, if he really wants to roll the dice and stop playing in the kiddie pool, when he finds the courage, when he finds his balls, and when he wants to come to featherweight, I'm willing to bet $1,000 Angelo Leo will bash him the fuck up and get him out of boxing. I bet you it will happen. The only person I think that can beat him is the featherweight is Sugar Nunez, which I think Inoue could beat Sugar Nunez. I've seen some things in Sugar Nunez I think Inoue could exploit, but he's strong. He's good. I like Sugar Nunez. Have you heard of Javier Martinez? He fights Reto. I'll probably get him on Martinez's mixed up. So, because the Javier Martinez I'm thinking of is the one that signed with Top Rank, but he fights like way up there. He fights like at 130. Unless it's the Javier Martinez that fought Andres Cortez. Maybe if it's that guy, the Mexican from Milwaukee. I'm not sure if that's him, but if that's the Javier Martinez they're talking about, that's an okay fight, I guess. Are you going to live stream for Inoue Canelo like you used to do more often? I'm not gonna go live. I don't know. I don't know yet. I'm trying to figure that out because they have both fight times. They have both fights like kind of close to each other. I know Inoue fights like at 4 or 5 in the morning or something like that, and then Crawford and Canelo fight at night. So I'm not sure what I'm doing yet. I'm trying to figure that out. I'm going to a fight party tomorrow. I'm gonna go to a watch party to watch this fight. So maybe I'll do some content. What do you guys think? Should I do some content from this fight party I'm going to? There's gonna be people there. There'll probably be some local fighters from the Bay Area there. I don't know who's gonna be there, but I might do some shorts, or I might try to go live after. I'm not so sure yet what I'm doing. I'm probably gonna go live after the fight. What I want to do is go live immediately after Canelo Crawford, and then probably go live during, in a way, Akmandalia, but I'm not sure yet. So I'll figure it out. Just my best advice is I would just stay tuned. I don't know yet. Tell Angelo to fight Shushu. I don't think he wins that fight. Listen, I like Shushu. I don't want to disrespect him because I like him a lot as a person. But listen, Shushu, just go get a belt. I don't want to talk trash. All he gotta do is go get a belt because he's not in the IBF rankings. So we can't fight him because he's not in the IBF rankings and he's not a champion. And we can't fight nobody unranked because Angelo's not Inoue or Canelo. He don't get a chance to do things like that. Angelo doesn't get a chance to fight Abni Yildirim and Yi Jun Kim. He actually has to follow the rules. So Shushu wins a belt, and you will see that you will see if Shushu and Angelo ever fight, you will see that you have no idea what you're talking about. Respectfully. Shout out to my boy Coy. He says, "Yo, good to see you live." Yeah, man, good to see you too, man. It's good to be seen. It's good to be seen. Good to talk. It's free. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, how can y'all hate? How can y'all hate? With Inoue, it's free, guys. You get to watch Inoue for free. I ain't mad at it. I ain't mad at Inoue fighting on Facebook Live because he's one of the only fighters that could fight on Facebook Live and probably generate the viewership he's about to generate. But yeah, going back to this though, tell Shushu to actually get past the contender level and win a belt. Like, dude, he needs to fight Sagawa again because Sagawa already beat him. Like, respectfully. I mean, it's understandable. They're fighting in Nagoya. I don't think Inoue's ever fought in Nagoya. Nagoya don't really get big fights like that, so it's big. It's incredible. It's big. It's big for boxing in Japan. Shout out to the fine folks in Nagoya. And by the way, shout out to my boy KO Artist Sports TV. He's out there in Japan covering the fight right now. I'm pretty sure he's the only American media out there. So shout out to him. He's a good dude. Yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited for the lives. They're gonna be exciting lives. Maybe if Yugo Osaki wakes up in time for the fight, maybe Yugo can come on the live with me and watch Inoue and Akhmadaliev. But he still has to train. He's still in training, so it's not like. Angelo should ruin the party by beating Picasso. I don't want to watch Inoue against him. Well, look, I'm gonna tell you right now, Picasso has never been a fight that's been presented to Angelo Leo at all at any stage in time. I trust me, if that was an option, I'd love that option, but that's not an option right now. I don't want to watch Picasso versus Inoue. I think it's a waste of time, and I think with Picasso's style, they're going to run the risk. I think Inoue will beat Picasso, but they're going to run the risk of Inoue breaking his hand. I guarantee you Inoue is going to break his hand or tear his bicep because Picasso's going to be in there smothering him. Watch. Junta versus Inoue is going to get postponed to like July. Shushu reminds me of Crawford. It's come up. He has had the same opportunity as others, but you see the skill set with him. Again, I like Shushu. I love as a person. I love his dad. Great people. I don't think him and Crawford are anything alike as far as their career. Terrence Crawford comes from Omaha, Nebraska. Literally nobody wanted him out of the amateurs. Every promoter passed on him. He literally had to fight on Brandon Rios prelims. He signed with a guy named Chris Middendorf a guy whose promotional company was so rinky-dink and so small, and coincidentally, that promotional company was called TKO Boxing back then, but that's a different TKO Boxing. Chris Middendorf had to sell the rights to Terence Crawford to Top Rank. Top Rank had to give Middendorf, I believe it was about an 8% cut of Crawford's purse. TKO Boxing, the old TKO Boxing, the bullshit one, they got their cut. Top Rank eventually stopped paying Middendorf the 8% cut for the bullshit TKO Boxing. Middendorf sued Top Rank. They had to settle. They had to settle in court for it. So that was a big thing. And Crawford had to really climb his way up the ladder to get to where he's at. Shushu has not gone through that. Shushu has literally had the red carpet rolled out for him. He was signed very early in his career to Top Rank. He's been afforded the luxury of having the right fights at the right time. Yeah, he's only been in one real 50-50 fight, and he didn't really win that fight. So I don't see it. I don't see it. And as far as his skill set, again, I like Shushu. I think he's a good fighter, but I don't think he's what you think he is. And I think you don't really realize what you're looking at when you talk about Angelo Leo. You know, Shushu Carrington is a great mid-range fighter. He's a good outside fighter, but there's a lot of all I'll say is there's a lot of holes. There's a lot of holes he needs to correct. A lot. And we got them all worked out. So if that fight ever presents itself, we have the answers. What do I think about Ray Vargas versus Angelo? Oh my God. Be a tricky fight. Ray Vargas, good boxer, multiple division champion, long, rangy. That actually, in my opinion, believe it or not, just because of the style, I think that's one of the toughest fights in the division. I think Angelo beats him, but it'd be a tough fight. I'd be more worried for that fight than Espinoza. I'll tell you that. Talking about styles. I can see Leo beating Inoue at 126. He has the right pressure and the right side. That's what I'm saying. The right pressure, the right size. He punches just hard enough. Volume is crazy. Got a granite chin. Doesn't get hurt. He's. And one thing I'll say is this, guys. Mr. Honda, the people who make the decisions in Inoue's career, they know how good Angelo is because they've seen Angelo, what Angelo has done. You know what? Let me not talk. Let me shut up. Let me shut up. BT, what are the odds we'll ever see Leo versus Hayato Sutsumi? It's a great question. It really all depends on when Angelo goes to 130. Now, personally, I don't think Angelo's going to 130. I think Angelo is going to try to pick off some of these titles and really cement himself as the best featherweight in the world. But it's been difficult. Like, I ain't going to say no names, but, one of the featherweight champions was already offered the fight, and they turned it down. And I couldn't believe it. I'm like, wow, I thought you really wanted the smoke. And I found out, that person wasn't really like that. So I'm not going to say who it is. But if it ever comes out, I'll talk about it. But I can't talk about it. But just know that one of these featherweights that you guys tell me that could be Angelo, he ducked the fight. Okay, BT, since you want to downplay Shushu, rank Leo's toughest fights at 126. Give me a top 5 stylistically. Oh, okay, that's easy. Suleiman Sagawa 1. Ray Vargas probably be like, I don't know if he'd be number 2, but he'd be in the top 5 somewhere. So I won't list them. I won't list them in order. I'll just give you the 5 names. Sagawa, Vargas. I'll say Espinoza, of course. Sagawa, Vargas, Espinoza. Shushu ain't in that top. I'll tell you this. Shushu ain't in the top 5. Nakano's good, but he got some things he needed to correct. I'll put Ball in there just because Ball has a good high guard defense and he's really short, so that's something new to adjust to. And then I'll say Inoue. So yeah, Inoue's not a featherweight yet. So I'll say, yeah, Sagawa, Vargas, Espinoza, Ball, Inoue, but that's not an order. I'll say those 5. I think those are a good 5 for styles. But like honestly, I'm not Espinoza and Ball over Shushu. Get out of here, man. Listen, man, I ain't gonna say what it is, but Shushu, there's something that Shushu does in all his fights, and I've been waiting to see him correct it. He ain't corrected it yet. You understand me? Um, and I don't think he's gonna correct it because of how his trainer coaches him. So all I'm saying is, he may get away with it against certain guys like, um, you know, like the guy's been fighting, but it's not gonna work against a guy like Angelo who can box, who can punch, who can counter punch. It's a different animal, and he should know that. He used Shusha used to spar Venado all the time, and he saw what happened to Venado. Shout out to Mr. Miyagi now. I can't highlight the comment now, but I'll highlight it later. He says, love the content, BT. And this is a super chat. He says, love the content, BT. Does MJ even cut weight? That guy doesn't look weight drained at all, and he has gained a lot of muscle since the pause fight. I'm excited to see what tricks Inoue pulls out of the toolbox. He definitely cuts weight. He's big. Have you seen MJ in between fights? There's no way on God's green earth that he doesn't cut some sort of weight in between fights, because really and truthfully, MJ is he's big. He's a big 122 pounder. MJ could listen. If MJ went to featherweight, he'd fill out nicely as a featherweight. Like that's how big he is, as far as how wide he is. I think Inoue is gonna have to pull out some new tricks here. He's gonna have to box. He's gonna have to. Like people have downplayed. Inoue is so great at knocking people out, and he's been such a apex predator, a seek and destroy type of fighter, if you will. He's been so great at that it gets downplayed how skillful of a fighter he is. He is a pound for pound fighter, and I feel like this is a fight in his career where he gets to show the overall pound for pound skills in his skill set, which is the exciting thing for me, because let's be real, these fights recently he's had have been garbage. I mean, Cardenas turned out to be a great fight, but Cardenas wasn't a guy that people were clamoring to see fight. So I won't say Cardenas, but like Yi Jun Kim, TJ Doheny, these are not like fights that someone befitting of his stature and his status in the sport should be in. So yeah, it's just good to see him in a fight where there's gonna be some danger. And yeah, but yo, I really hate StreamYard on the phone. I need to get this computer working on Wi-Fi again, because y'all gonna laugh. I'm staying in this camp house, and everything in this house connects to the Wi-Fi, but my computer. Normally, when I go live, I have my computer to read the comments, because it's easier that way. Because StreamYard on the phone is weird, but my computer's been tripping out on me, so I've been doing it through the app, and I hate StreamYard on the phone reading the comments, because I can't even see y'all guys' comments now. But shout out to everybody here. It's your boy BT, Brendan Taylor, the untouchable True School Sports Empire. We're almost 2 hours in. I'm definitely gonna go in even 2 hours. Maybe I'll even go 2 hours 10 minutes. We'll see how I feel in a little bit. But leave your comments down below. Chime in, guys. It's the 11th hour of Canelo-Crawford. It's the 11th hour for our sport of boxing, because I'm telling y'all, I want you guys, for the 41 of you guys here that are watching this live, remember what I said. Boxing, the sport as you know it, for good, bad, or indifferent, at the conclusion of Crawford Canelo, the sport will never ever be the same. So we'll see how it goes, man. We'll see if it's for the good, and we'll see if it's for the bad. But it's either way, it's gonna be a different environment we're in boxing. Guys, give me 1 second. I'm gonna come right back. Give me 1 second. All right, so I want to go ahead and right here and highlight my boy's comment. My boy, Mr. Miyagi, shout out to you, champ. Thank you for the super chat. Yeah, should be a great fight. I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely gonna go live for it. I definitely want to go live for it. You know, the Inoue live fight reactions are different here on this channel, so I definitely want to go live for it. But thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the support. Even the Japanese live stream for now. Whoa, see, that I didn't know. That I didn't know. That changes everything. So you mean to tell me that Naoya Inoue's fight is going to be free in Japan, free in America, and free in the UK? Bro, Naoya Inoue is about to get more viewership than Crawford and Canelo. I'm so serious. He might get more viewership than Crawford and Canelo. Leo and Venado was close until the KO. Shushu would have folded up Venado. No, negative. Go back and watch the fight. That fight was not close. Venado was having very explosive moments when he had his moments. But if you're scoring that fight, Angelo knocked his ass out in the 10th round. Angelo was up about 6-3. 6-3. He was winning. He was beating him easy. How was the fight? Like, it was close in the sense of the fact that Venado was having moments, and you know there were explosive moments, but it wasn't no close fight. He was getting his ass whooped. He was getting his ass tore up, and that's why the fight ended how it did. The fight ended how it did because he was getting his ass tore up for the majority of the fight. Shushu's not. I'm telling you right now. I like Shushu. He's not falling up with Venado. Nobody in the entire division is having that performance against Venado. BT, does Inoue get to pick his fights? When you reach a certain level in boxing, like an Inoue, like a Canelo, like a Crawford, even like a Bam Rodriguez is at now, where he's about to go, you can dictate your fights. You can dictate your terms. So, yeah, he can't. I think to a degree they definitely he definitely had a say in it. Shushu stands up straight up in the pocket. That's that does happen, but that's not that. No, there's a bigger hole than that, and I haven't really seen anybody in the media talk about it, but we know what it is, and so it's not. I'm telling you right now, if there's a fight that he doesn't need to take, it's that one. Shushu should go another route. We haven't worked out. The judges scored the fight even on the Ronaldo fight even before the KO. I know. I listen. Yeah, I think two judges had it 86-85. Leo, one had it maybe like for Venado, but I'm not talking about what the judges had it. I'm talking about what actually was happening in the ring. Venado was getting his ass tore up. That's why the fight ended how it did. Watched that fight a million times. Tomohiro Kameda had a better, in my opinion. I thought the Kameda fight was closer. But Angelo won both them fights clear. Yeah, like people always ask me, like, BT, how could boxing be big again? It could be big again if you make it accessible. So, like, in this day and age of streaming, in this day and age of putting fights behind paywalls, you got Naoya Inoue, one of the biggest names in the sport and one of the biggest fighters around the globe. He's gonna have this fight free in all of the biggest boxing markets. I'm telling you guys, Naoya Inoue is gonna have more viewers than Canelo and Crawford. I don't care if Canelo and Crawford is on Netflix. I can't wait till Shushu gets about. Oh, me neither. Oh, listen. It's a great fight for the division. Like, not even to go at you in no negative way, but like, that's a great fight for American boxing. Angelo versus Shushu. That's a great fight for the featherweight division. Angelo and Shushu. And a lot of people like you, for some reason, I don't know if they just don't have a TV, if they don't know what they're watching, they keep sleeping on Angelo. So we're gonna wake them up. If it's Espinoza, he's getting bashed up. If it's Shushu, unfortunately, I like him. He getting bashed up. If it's Nick Ball, he's getting bashed up. If it's Inoue, he's 1,000% definitely getting bashed up. And if Stephen Foden's at 130, his time will come too. BT, you said Leo beats Inoue because of his feet. Let's say Inoue fixes that. Are you still confident that he will beat the shit out of Inoue? Yes. We have the answers. Yes, we have the answers. I'm very confident. I'm extremely confident. Obviously, it's not going to be easy. Like, Inoue is a great fighter. He's Inoue. Like, ain't nobody saw that puzzle yet. But not, you know, Angelo is a special fighter in his own right, and he's gonna level up. Like he's been leveling up. Like I haven't been with him in the gym. I haven't been with him in the gym since the Kameda fight, but I've been getting my reports back from people on the team, and I'm hearing that he's leveling up quite a bit. And I got some things in the works for him that are gonna level him up even more. So don't worry, you'll see. Really more than Canelo, but I don't know, man. Like I know Netflix has a big subscriber base, but yo, this fight is for free and it's on Facebook. Everybody got Facebook. Like, so I don't know, man. You talk about the USA market, the Japanese market, and the British market. Yo, I cannot wait to see what the numbers are gonna be for that fight. Because I'm telling you, if it's not bigger than Canelo and Crawford, it's gonna give it a run for its money. It's gonna be right there. Like you can't put a fighter like Inoue, a marquee name like that, and not expect crazy monster numbers. If Leo in a way goes to the cards, I don't think the judges will give it to Leo. We'll see, man. We'll see. We'll see. If you want to know, listen, I've been very vocal about this. You can actually go and watch the Leo Inoue fight in advance if you want to. It's on YouTube. Because I think the Angelo Leo and Inoue fight's going to play out one of two ways. It's either going to play out like Seiya Tsutsumi versus Takuma Inoue, or it's gonna, or if Angelo fights to the best of his abilities, it's gonna play out like Ricardo Lopez versus Hideki Ohashi, and Inoue is gonna be Hideki Ohashi. I'll leave it at that. Hey BT, shout out to Rex Righteous. What do you think of the Fernando versus Walsh fight? Now look, this is a tough fight to pick. It really is. It really is a tough fight to pick. I would actually go as far as say it's probably the hardest fight to pick in the card because Callum Walsh has all the hype behind him. He's with UFC, but I've watched him fight, and I know that he's nothing special. Like he's nothing special. Like he's big, strong, southpaw Irish kid, straight up and down, head on the center line. You know, and I know that a lot of the opponents he's been fighting have been guys that have been very undersized, designed to make him look good for the Irish fans that come out to support him. Now, this is not one of those opponents. While Fernando Vargas Jr. isn't as talented as Emiliano Vargas, I think Fernando Vargas Jr. is definitely on paper the toughest opponent he's fought because Jr. is really punching like that. Jr. is strong. He's sturdy. Yeah, I'm actually leaning towards Jr. in this fight, but that's a tough one. Do you want that fight for you to go? Do you want that fight for you to go to head to head with one of your friends? Yeah, of course. Selfishly, like, yeah, like, who wouldn't want that opportunity? Like, you know, I'm in these camps. I'm doing these film studies. I'm learning boxing. Like, I'm up to here in boxing all day. You know, and why? Who wouldn't want the opportunity? Like me being part of Team Leo to match up against Team Inoue, like Miguel to match up against, you know, Shingo Inoue, one of the best trainers, and you know, now Inoue, one of the greatest fighters in history, versus Angelo Leo, a guy that I think is going to be one of the greatest fighters in history, and that's going to be the fight where he proves it. So of course, I want that fight for that reason, and not even just that. I think for the boxing fans, it's a great fight. I think stylistically, it's a great fight for boxing. I think it's one of the best fights I can be made in boxing from a style standpoint. Yeah, no. Fernando. See, one thing I will say is Fernando versus Callum Walsh is going to be a barn burner. I think that'll be a good fight. But that Martinez and Billy, that's the fight for me. I think Martinez versus and Billy is going to be the fight. But that's a good one too. I would say, in chronological order, the best fights on the card are and Billy Martinez, Walsh versus what's his name? Vargas Jr. Then I'll put Crawford Canelo. Because Crawford Canelo is just names. That's not going to be no exciting fight. Shushu is beating both of them. Listen, man. Shushu, listen, just get a belt, man. Just get a belt. Just get the belt. Why do you, okay, I want to ask you, Alex, because you've been going on and on and on and on about Shushu. And I like Shushu. I know his strengths very, very well. And I really, really know his weaknesses very, very well. Why? What do you see in Shushu that maybe I'm not seeing? Or did you see a Radio Raheem said to Canelo about Benavidez? I saw a clip of it, but honestly, Raphael, I didn't even watch the press conference. All I kept watching was those 2 minutes from Sean Zittel. That's all I cared about because that's the only thing that mattered to me. That's the only thing that matters to boxing. I think it's I don't know what he said. What did he say exactly? Could Walsh versus Fernando Vargas be the fight of the year? Possibly. It could be. It could be. From a stylistic standpoint, them two, if it becomes like a knockout, a knockdown, drag out type of affair, it could be that kind of fight. But honestly, for me, and I know people are going to say, BT, your Japanese bias is showing again. But for me, I'm being honest. I have not seen a more exciting fight this year than what I saw in March between Kenshiro Teraji and Seigo Yuri Akui. That to me is the best fight of the year. That trumps everything. We'll see if any of these fights can knock it off the perch. But right now, for me, it's still on the perch as my 2025 fight of the year. So, it'll take something special. Shout out to everybody here. It's your boy BT, True School After Dark, everybody's favorite late night boxing program. It is, in fact, the 11th hour in the sport of boxing. It is, in fact, the 11th hour in the business of boxing. And the sport after this fight, I'm telling y'all, will never, ever be the same. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah, no, it was one of the Seigo Yuri Akui versus Kenshiro Teraji was one of the greatest fights I've ever seen. And what made that fight extra special for me was I got a chance to interview both these guys, and I saw both of them train. And I knew from watching Seigo Yuri Akui train, and I knew from watching Kenshiro train, I knew that it was going to be one of them type of fights. And it even exceeded my expectation. Do you think Inoue and Junto doing the Saudi fight will help their fight to be a true Super Bowl in Japan with the profits that can be used for bigger promotion strategies? That's a great question. I never thought of it that way, and I like how you frame that question. I hope that that's the plan. If them going to Saudi to get more money so that they can put it into more marketing and pushing it around Japan, then I'm all for that because I think. You know, Fawn. So I don't gotta tell you. You know, I love and have a special place in my heart for Japanese boxing, and as much I want to see American boxing flourish, and equally, believe it or not, I want to see Japanese boxing flourish. It's my second home at this point, and I got a lot. It's crazy. In 2 years, I've got a bunch of Japanese friends now, and they're some of my best friends in the world. But yeah, I would like to see the fight get all the attention it can get in Japan. So yeah, for sure, if they could do that, it'd be great. Radio asked Canelo if he'd be willing to fight Benavidez, and Canelo said he would never want to fight him. Well, we all know that already. He fled to a whole other country. He became a refugee and went to Saudi Arabia to not fight Benavidez. So we already know how that goes. I don't want to harp on that too much. Like we're on the eve of we're not too far away from this big fight happening. So. There is a part of me that is trying to be positive and look forward to the fact that hey, Brendan, like Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, two of the best boxers of all time, are gonna box each other. Like, be excited about that. But yeah, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it. We'll see how it goes. BT, do you get more love in Japan or America in terms of fighters? That's an amazing question. Do I get more love? I get love. Listen. I'm internationally known, but I'm locally respected. So I feel like I get my fair share of love in the States. I got the guys like Angelo Leo and Brian Norman Jr. and truckloads of other fighters that give me their respect when I see them. But man, it's just different when you get love in a country where you're not from. You get love in a country where you don't even speak the language. I get a lot of love in Japan, and the love that I get in Japan is why, and it's what helps me keep going. It's beautiful, man. I can't believe it sometimes, and now it's taking on a whole new meaning. Now we're in camp with Yugo Osaki, and we're playing a very vital role in this camp and making sure that everything is going smoothly. So it's beautiful. Crawford is looking ready though, bro. He definitely looks like he looks right for 168 now. Well, we'll see, man. Looks can be deceiving. I've seen a lot of fighters go on that scale have all the muscles and have everything, popping out of their t-shirt, and then they go in there and then they don't have the stamina because look, you can have the muscles, you can have all that, but muscles don't equate to functional strength in boxing, boxing shape, and that's just how it is. Like there's plenty of guys that have been muscle bound, but just it wasn't really good for them, So we'll see how it goes. We'll see if Terrence can be functionally boxing at 168 for long periods of time. I personally don't think he can. I think he's got about 7.5 to 8 rounds of doing that, and then after that, I think rounds 9 through 12, whether he's winning or losing, he's gonna have to really grind those rounds out. But mark my words, guys, whether he's winning or losing, Terrence Crawford is going to have to grind rounds 9 through 12 out, meaning that he's going to have to survive and be very economical and pick his spots very carefully, because I just think with that frame and then with the speed advantage not being what it needs to be for him to be at his ultimate best in this fight, I just think it's going to be difficult. What are your top 5 Japanese interviews in your opinion that I've done so far? Oh, man. It's a lot of them. Let me think. My first Jinsazaki interview was special. I like that one. Seigo Yuri definitely got to be in there. He was great. Kenshiro Taraji was great. Seiya Tsutsumi was great when I interviewed him. Koki Tyson, during my last visit, was a fun one. And then definitely Yugo Osaki was a great one, because if I don't meet Yugo Osaki, we're not here in training camp, and maybe things aren't going as smoothly for him. So it's like, there's a lot of them, man. But I would say those are the ones that come to mind. Crawford's endurance might not be the same as 147. It's not going to be. I don't want to say there's no way it can't be. There's always a way, but I just don't think it will. And I guess that's what makes it interesting, is like, how long can Terrence Crawford hold this stamina and continue to box off that long ranging frame? Now we got another super chat, man. And again, this live has been brought to you in part by Mr. Miyagi with the €20 super chat. So shout out to you. Now, again, the StreamYard on my phone is weird, so don't get mad at me if I don't highlight your comment. I'm going to do it here in a second. But he says, it's funny how Americans still bash Inoue when Inoue has moved more weight classes than their favorite fighters have while fighting top guys. That's why I do give Bam a lot of respect, because he did fight the guys in his weight classes. So now, there's a lot of things I could say to that comment. First of all, thank you again for your contribution. It is very appreciated. But as far as Inoue is a great. He's one of the all-time greats. I mean, he turned pro at 108. He skipped 112. He moved to 115. Went undisputed at 118. Went undisputed at 122. And he might even go to featherweight. So we're talking about a guy that's a 4-division champion. I think it's very possible he becomes a 5-division champion before it's all said and done. If he does that, he'll be boxing royalty, because in this sport of boxing, only the greatest of the great have become a 5-division champion. Those guys are Mayweather, Pacquiao, Hearns, Leonard, Duran, and I think De La Hoya. So I think he'd be the 7th or 6th 5-division champion in history. So that would be something, and I think he's going to do it. Just as long as he doesn't fight the IBF champion at featherweight, he'll be all right. But as far as Bam. Now, but Bam, I got a little bit to say there. Now, it's not his fault. It's not his fault, because I understand that he really doesn't have any control in the matter. Mr. Honda is the one pulling the strings. Eddie Hearn is the one pulling the strings. Bam did fight people to become the name he is in boxing. He fought names. He fought Rong Basai. He fought Quadras. He did fight those guys, right? Of course, he fought Guy Ostrada. Of course, they weren't the best versions of themselves at the time he fought them, but he still fought them, and he won, and he looked good doing it, so that does count for something, right? But I can't say he fought everyone, right? Because, he didn't fight Kenshiro Taraji. He was in and around his weight, and that's a guy that's been wanting to fight him. He didn't fight Ricardo Sandoval. He didn't fight Anthony Olas Kuwaga. These are Mexican-Americans that were in and around his weight. So it's not, and I don't think it's just like, I don't feel like I want to make it very clear. I don't think he ducked those guys, but I'm saying he didn't fight everyone. I think Mr. Honda has carefully moved him in these divisions. I think it's very interesting to me how Bam has the most powerful man in Japanese boxing in his career, but he's never fought any Japanese fighters, and there's truckloads of them in and around his weight. So it's interesting, but we'll see. Maybe that will change because supposedly he's a free agent now, according to Robert Garcia, and they want to start calling the shots. So we'll see how it goes. But either way, Mr. Miyagi, thank you for your super chat. I appreciate everything. Let me refresh because my the stream thing's going random. Hold on. All right, and we're back. So back to the comments. Hold on. Where are the comments at? I guess there will be no comments because it's weird. Like when people super chat, you can't just go straight to the comments on the phone. It's weird. Hold on. Am I doing something wrong? Anyway, so yeah, like you can nitpick any fighter. You know, you can nitpick Leonard, you can nitpick Inoue, you can nitpick Crawford, you can whoever you don't like in boxing is very easy to nitpick and say that well he didn't fight this guy, he didn't fight that guy. But what you'll come to realize, especially if you're not like one of those guys like a Canelo, like a Tank, like a Inoue, like a Joshua, most of these guys can't dictate anything they want to do in their careers. Normally, the promoters give you 1 to 2 names tops, or 3 names if they really like you, and you pick from one of those names and you fight. Now, there are some cases where the promoter says, "Look, this is your only option, and you fight this guy. And if you don't fight him, then I don't know. We can't do anything for you. You know that happens too in boxing. You'd be surprised how often it happens in boxing where fighters don't really have a say. It's like, yo, you take it or leave it, or we can't do anything for you. Like they won't explicitly say that we'll sit you on the shelf, but they'll say that like, yo, take it or leave it. Um, we got a super chat from my man, Mr. Miyagi, and I can't highlight it right now because streaming out of my phone is weird, but I'll read it. He says, "Where has Crawford's smiles gone at the weigh-in? Canelo is putting some bud in his grinder, and he's going to smoke that blunt." So there you go. So Mr. He's saying Terrence Crawford's gonna get smoked tomorrow. That's it. Like Terrence Crawford don't got nothing for Canelo. We'll see how it goes, man. Listen, I think Canelo has a great chance, a unique chance to make history because Canelo has never, in his entire boxing career, he's never, ever, ever, ever knocked out a Hall of Fame fighter. All the fighters that are in the Hall of Fame or that you would say are going to the Hall of Fame on his resume, he's never knocked out. He never knocked out Floyd. He never knocked out Canelo. He never knocked out Bivol. So he knocks out Crawford. It would be a first in Canelo's career. And I think, at least in my eyes, I can't speak for everybody else because people have a much higher view than him than I do as a fighter. I think Canelo's a little fighter. I think he's great, but some people have him like as a top best Mexican fighter ever, or like top 2 Mexican fighter ever. I think that's blasphemy. I think it's ridiculous. But if he knocks out Crawford, in my opinion, even though Crawford is a welterweight, and even though Crawford is undefeated, he's a 2-time undisputed champion. He's a great fighter. If he knocks him out, you know, in my mind, not even just in my mind. The objective truth is it's the first Hall of Fame fighter he's ever knocked out. So therefore, it means that he should go up a level, and that's how I look at it. So yeah, thank you for that, Mr. Miyagi. Yes, sir. Let me see. But it's your boy BT, True School After Dark. I'm waiting to get back to the actual regular comments because like when these super chats, for some reason, your guys' comments don't pop up. I gotta wait, and even when I refresh, hold on. I don't know why it does that. I need to get my computer back. But I'm excited. You know what? It's crazy because I have not been excited for this fight at all, and I haven't really thought. Like I've been covering the fight like on the channel, but like I think now I'm starting to get excited about it. Like it's gonna be a big event. People are talking about it. Sean Zittel got me hyped for this fight. Honestly, as funny as that sounds, like him and Dana White go back and forth. Like that got me hyped for this fight. and then I'm going to a fight party tomorrow with Yuga Osaki here in the Bay Area, and then I'm gonna eat some good food. So I'm really excited about that. I'm really excited to be amongst people. Shout out to my man Jazz 11, my man out here in the Bay Area. Shout out to you. I think that's him. Or I could be wrong. It could be somebody else. But either way, shout out. He says, I watched Disco in the amateurs versus FA in Joyce, and he gassed in round 3, but that was years ago. I know he sparked Fury. I wonder if his gas tank has improved. That's a great question. Now, look, I'm an Ivan Disco fan. I've been an Ivan Disco fan since 2018 because, in 2018, around that time when he turned pro, Ivan Ditchko, he was fighting a lot in South Florida on these local shows at the heavyweight factory, but he was fighting cans. He was fighting like really overmatched opposition. So, he really wasn't. I never really had a chance to watch him go rounds, and then he hasn't really had too many fights in his career where he's gone rounds because these guys just can't stand up to his power. So, to me, the Jermaine Franklin fight is very interesting because conventional wisdom says that Ditchko should probably stop a guy like Franklin. He fought at a higher level, higher pedigree, but he hasn't really had too many fights where he went rounds. And one thing about Franklin is a very crafty, durable, game veteran. He's been around the block. He knows how to fight. So Franklin can get in his chest, avoid the big shots early, up the numbers in punch output. Maybe there's a chance he could drown him. And so to me, that's another good fight on the card. I'm very excited to see Ivan Ditchko on the card because quiet as kept. I'm a huge Ivan Ditchko fan. Like he's the guy that when I think about my early days of covering boxing, them first 3 years, me covering boxing, going to the heavyweight factory, he's the guy I think about. So I associate Ivan Ditchko in my mind with good times in boxing. I want to see him really get something out of his career because I feel like he's really he hasn't really been able to, fully be all he could be in the sport, and he deserves the right to be all he can be in the sport, So, I'm looking forward to seeing him in the card and showcasing his skills, and hopefully he can go get the fights. Now, look, the comments came back finally after all them super chats. The comments came back. So hold on, I'm gonna go highlight all these super chats. Shout out to my boy right here for the Ivan Ditchko super chat. Appreciate you a lot. It's funny, guys. Like when the super chats disappear on the thing, the comments come back. It's funny how that works on here. Shout out to my guy right here, Mr. Miyagi. Right here with the super chat. I want to highlight him, acknowledge him, right? And then he had another one over here. Where is it? Right here. Shout out to him for this one as well. So those are the super chats I was reading. Thank you guys. Let me see. So TSM says, BT, what's your favorite Inoue division? My favorite version of Inoue was the version of him at 118. The guy that fought Emmanuel Rodriguez. That was my favorite guy. Shout out to my man Unbiased. He says, what up, True? I think Sean asking those questions is in that setting really didn't accomplish anything, to be honest. Also, the Ali Act is only in the USA, and we are up in arms about Dana. But you're wrong. You couldn't be more wrong about anything, in my opinion, with all due respect. You can't say that it didn't do anything because it literally, if you just go add up all the views, all the people, everyone's talking about it. Ariel Hawani, if you're tweeting it, it's like the biggest story in boxing. So people are talking about it. And there's no such thing as bad publicity in terms of someone like that coming to light. Now, is it going to stop them from changing the Muhammad Ali Act? Probably not, because Ari Emanuel is really influential and had a lot of powerful people in government that he's connected to and related to. But it's at least making the boxing fans more aware of what the hell is going on and what they could expect under the new Dana White TKO boxing regime. You understand? So I think it accomplished a lot, actually. I'm going to respectfully disagree with you. I remember you interviewing Roberto Duran's son. Yeah, Rob Duran Jr. Yeah, he didn't have quite the career his dad had, but he tried. He gave the good old college try. He's a great person. I like Rob Duran Jr. But yeah, I remember that too. I was at his pro debut. Let me see. I missed some comments. I think Naoya Inoue is the only fighter right now that the boxing industry works around him, than the other way around. Like this unconventional pace of streaming top rank would never have been done before. There is literally no other fighter except maybe Canelo who you could put on a streaming service against a random opponent like Merge on with all due respect, and it's gonna do crazy numbers. The impact of TKO is overstated. I don't think it's stated enough. I don't see enough people talking about Ari Emanuel and these kind of things. And as far as the Ali Act only being in the USA, well, it mattered. Well, boxing in America is pretty damn important. I know it's not what it used to be, but big time boxing still has a big foothold in the market, and it does cover something. So, that law does mean something. Oh, another thing is this, guys. Another thing I'll say is this: if they get rid of the Muhammad Ali Act altogether, or they change it the way they want, like you, if you guys think we're not getting fights in America right now, all the fights are going to be going to Saudi. So listen, some of you guys love the Saudi cards. So if y'all love the 3 p.m. with like 7 people in the crowd fights, if that's what you like, then cool. But me, call me a bit of a weirdo. I like to see 15,000, 20,000 people in the stands, prime time, live at night, people dressed to the nines, having fun, alcohol in their hands, having a great time. That's boxing to me. But I digress. All right, so what are we at? We're at 2 hours and 21 minutes. What time is it right now? It's currently it's 12:16. So I have to go to bed soon. So guys, I'm gonna go 10 more minutes and then we'll get up off live. But I really enjoyed this live. Thank you guys so much for all the contributions and questions and things like that. How good do you think Floyd would have done in the Four Kings era with Duran, Hearns, Sugar Ray Leonard, and Hagler? It's a great question. I think Floyd would beat all of them except maybe Tommy Hearns. I would favor Floyd against all of them except Tommy Hearns. I think Tommy Hearns would have been the hardest style for Floyd to dissect. In my opinion, I would say I think he definitely beats Duran. I think he definitely beats Hagler as much as I like Hagler. I think him and Sugar Ray's a pick 'em, but I would lean towards Floyd, and I think Tommy Hearns is a fight where I might even make Floyd the underdog. Who is more annoying in boxing, Turkey or Jake Paul? Um, funny enough, I'm kind of past the point of being annoyed by them. Like, I kind of accepted them for what they are in boxing. So I don't get annoyed, but I gotta answer the question. If you ask me, I would say Turkey, because people hate on everything Jake Paul does, and Turkey and Jake Paul do some of the same things. But when Turkey does it, everyone says it's a stacked card, and they say at least they give him the fights. That's what they say, Rex. That's what they say, Raphael. Ooh, and Gotti TV says, "Yo, BT, who do you got between Ishmael Davis versus Kami Arjuk?" Or sorry if I came in late night. Should be touched on it. No, trust me, I haven't touched on it at all. I haven't really touched on too much British boxing. I would definitely say in that fight, I got Ishmael Davis is a good little fighter, but I got Jarko. I think he's a bit too big and strong for Davis. Davis is good though. Davis is good. It'd be good to see Davis break through and get a big win, because I know he's had he's one of these guys that kind of picked up boxing late. He's been learning on the job, so I root for those guys, because when you start boxing late and you don't have the big time promoters backing you, you got all the odds against you. So it's always good to see those guys break through and make it in boxing. But I think Jocko won that fight. Jocko, he's trying to make history. He's trying to become the first Black Irishman to become a champion in boxing. And funny enough, I didn't even know. I'm so serious. And I'm gonna sound ignorant when I say this. I didn't even know they had Black people in Ireland until 2022, when Yarko was signed to fight my boy Pete Dobson. I'm so serious. I had no idea that Black people in Ireland existed. So it was like I didn't know that Black people had like the Irish accent. They do. It's a real thing, and he's one of them. And he's trying to become the first Black Irishman to be a world champion. So, shout out to him. It's always cool to see first in boxing. Oh, we got another super chat from Mr. Miyagi. Shout out to Mr. Miyagi again with the super chat. He says, Turkey voice, we do the big fight. That's what Turkey says. For every fight, Turkey says, we do the big fight. Every fight Turkey says that is going on is a big fight. Every fight that that's circulating is a big fight. Anything that's he's like, you do fight, you do Riyadh season. The fight be Riyadh, do Riyadh, Riyadh this, Riyadh that. Shout out to Turkey, man. This fight, listen, guys, and Mr. Miyagi, thank you once again for the super chat. This is going to be Turkey's swan song as the lone dictator, as the lone dictatorial figure in boxing. Yes, because after this, Turkey's moving down the pecking order of the most powerful men in boxing. It's going to be Ari Emanuel 1, like Dana White / Nick Khan 2, and then maybe Turkey could be 3. Maybe Turkey could be 3. But yeah, it's going to be a whole new era, and I'm looking forward to seeing what's to come of our sport, really, guys. And I'm looking forward to seeing if Dana White will really grab his nuts and do the Sean Zittel interview. I hope everybody holds him accountable, because he needs to. He said it. He said it. On GP, on general principle, he needs to give Sean the interview, and we're not letting up. We're not letting up. We will not relent. We will not retreat. We will not surrender. We will not cower. We will not fear. He's going to give him that interview. Come hell or come high water. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. What about Terence Crawford against the Four Kings in the Hearns Leonard? Okay, so I think in that era, I think Terence, the only guy that I definitively think Terence would beat, ironically, might actually be, he might be Tommy Hearns. Because Terence going to go in there looking for the knockout, and Hearns is, he was a bit chinny. Mayweather, I don't think will fight Hearns in that manner. Hagler and Crawford to pick him. I would hedge it slightly towards Hagler. Leonard, I think, would beat Crawford, and Duran, I would make the favorite of a Crawford, because I can't get the Gamboa fight out of my head when I think about fantasy fights and things like that. I don't know. Crawford's a great fighter, man. I just know Crawford is a great fighter, but he's not as good as Floyd. Why didn't we as boxing fans just care as much about the Ali Act when Al Haymon was circumventing it? Well, a couple things. Number one, you're talking to someone that actually spoke up and talked against Al Haymon when Al Haymon and PBC were talking about creating their own belt back when I was like 20 years old, 10 years ago. I had videos talking about that. I had videos going off about Al Haymon about that. Like, I thought Al Haymon, what he was doing was not good for boxing. Now, I thought like him getting boxing back on network TV was good for boxing, but him overpaying fighters above market value and kind of like messing the market up, that was bad for boxing. So I was listen, I keep that same energy. I was very vocal about Al. I've been vocal about like this. I'm keeping that same energy. And then the reason why I think this is bigger is because, number one, Turkey's a foreigner. That's one. Two, he's got Al Haymon had hedge fund money backing him up. Turkey's got government money backing him up. You understand me? No matter how rich Al Haymon is, no matter how much money Waddell and Reed pumped into the PBC, it's not the government like Saudi Arabia funding you. So it's that. And on top of that, I don't want to get into it, but there's a lot of controversial things that have happened in Saudi Arabia with media members and lack of free speech, and they don't got. And I don't want to get into it because I know people are gonna say, "But BT, what about America?" Like, I get it, but it's different. It's different. Like, it's the same thing, but it's different because of the fact of who is backing these guys up. Al Haymon is backed up by hedge fund money. Turkey is backed up by government money. So that's my perspective on it. You are one of the few. I remember you saying something. Yeah, no. Me, like I said, man, like Al Heyman ain't cut me no check. If anything, Al Heyman almost destroyed my channel because the only 2 copyright strikes I ever got in the whole history of this channel were from Al Heyman. Like I remember, I'll never forget it. Like I went live for Eric Slim versus Jermell Charlo like back in 2017 or whenever they fought, and I got a big ass red square popped up on my screen when I logged into YouTube, and it said, "You have copyright strike from," and it said in big capital letters, "Heyman Boxing." And I couldn't make money on YouTube for like a month. I couldn't go live for a month either. It was crazy. But so I mean, I got no reason to dig right on Heyman. Yeah, Turkey is insanely rich. Yes, because the Saudi Arabia government has empowered him to be that. You understand? Eddie Hearn, I mean, I had hope that Eddie Hearn would have did better than he did when he came to the American market. I used to really like Eddie Hearn when he was in the UK. But even him, like Leonard Blavatnik and DAZN, when they gave him like 100 billion plus, like that was like they're all like between Al and Eddie and Turkey, they all had one thing in common. They were powerful, influential men that were hungry for more power and to dominate the sport. That's what it is. The only difference that I could say is that Turkey is not really a boxing guy, even though he likes to posture himself as one. And Al Heyman is not a boxing guy. He's a music entertainment guy. Eddie's actually a boxing guy. Like his dad, he grew up in the business. He sat ringside at Frank Bruno fights. Like he's really a boxing fan. You understand? So they offer a private jet for all the boxers. Yeah, they do. You got to do what you got to do to get these guys to feel to sign to you. I think on that note, guys, it's time to go. So listen, guys, thank you guys for tuning into the live. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do yet as far as the next live or anything like that. I don't think I'll be live during Crawford Canelo, so I would rule that out because I'm going to a fight party. But what I would advise you guys to do is stay very locked into like my YouTube shorts because I'm probably gonna get some of the people at the watch party I'm going to on the YouTube shorts. So watch out for that. And then I'm gonna shoot to go live immediately after Canelo Crawford. I'm gonna go live after the fight. And then I'm definitely gonna go live for the Inoue fight against Ahmed Aliyev. So you will get 2 lives. You will get great fight coverage. You will get all those kind of things. But until then, continue to look out for more videos here on True School Sports. Continue to subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Each and every day we're getting close to that illustrious 100,000 subscriber mark, and I'm very, very excited about that. I can't wait to hit it. But nonetheless, guys, I'm gonna get some rest. You guys do the same. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me. But I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.